Need motivation?
Watch the top 10 of Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 for my top 10, top 10, 9. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and the chances are you are the most ambitious person in your circle. But you know you're capable of more, and you get a push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, and his top 50 rules for success. Enjoy!
If you quit on something too soon that you still love, you will regret it for the rest of your life. If you don't love it anymore, quit. Move on. You will never win doing work that you hate. But if you love it, and you move on to something else, you will look back on this day and regret it for the rest of your life that you did not see it through. Most people spend their entire life living with regrets. Don't let that be you. The hardest decision I ever had to make in my life was being an entrepreneur. I struggled a lot with the decision, do I want to be an entrepreneur, and had this opportunity to make $300 a month and earn 30% of a company versus going to work at a job that I thought I wanted, a job that I'd been preparing myself for, that this is what I wanted to do. It was in my high school yearbook of this is where I was going to be. And here it was, earning 6 figures, traveling around the world, doing the investment banking that I thought I wanted to do, versus making $300 a month and owning 30% of a company. And the thing that allowed me to push through and be an entrepreneur was me saying, I don't want to live with regret. That I would rather know and fail than not know. And I gave myself a year. I said, I'm going to give myself a year to do this. I could always go back and get another job. It may not be the same job. It probably wouldn't be the same job. It may not be as much pay. It may not be traveling as much as this job was offering me to travel. But this entrepreneurial thing, this opportunity that I had, I never knew if it would come back again. Like I thought maybe this will never happen to me again. And so I decided to go for it. And we struggled and it was hard, but I never ended up having to go back and get another job. And so if you're at an inflection point, if you're thinking about which path should I take, A or B, lean in with your heart. Stop using your head. Your head only understands the world that currently exists. Lean in with your heart and ask yourself, which decision will I regret more if I don't do? And then go take that action. I became an entrepreneur because I didn't want to regret not having at least tried. And a great moment in my life came a number of years later where one of the people I went to university with came back and said, Evan, I went down that path. I became the investment banker and I hate my life. How do I become an entrepreneur? And I looked in his eyes and I saw the desperation and the sadness and helped him, but also was so grateful that that wasn't me, because it could have been. What's the difference between you and Jack Ma? You both have crazy dreams. You both started with the odds stacked against you. You both started with very little resources. So what's the difference? The difference is that Jack kept believing in his dreams and his ideas when most people quit and give up. So I actually think you should be on a mission for life. I'm not a big believer in 5-year goals or 10-year goals. I think they can help, but I think if you have a 5 or 10-year goal, you're actually thinking small because you can't predict where you're gonna be in 5 or 10 years. Just like the person you were 5 or 10 years ago could not have designed the life for where you're at right now. Not if you're growing, because the world's changing too quickly and you're growing and evolving. So the ideas and goals that you had 5 years ago may not even be relevant anymore, but the mission stays the same. My mission is believe. Right? Your purpose comes from your pain. So my mission is believe. I want to support entrepreneurs because I struggled so much as an entrepreneur. And I think it's the world's biggest problem. I think the world's biggest problem is people don't believe in themselves enough. I think any other problem that you come up with should have already been solved by now, but the person who could solve that, cancer, the woman who should have solved cancer is an account manager at McDonald's, because she never tried going to medical school, or 2, she did, but she didn't believe in herself enough to chase it down because everybody around her was telling her that she's crazy. You should be crazy. You're doing something that's never been done before. You're on a mission, right? And so no matter how many people I touch with all of my content, all of my channels, every video that I'm making, every speaking gig, every city that I go to, no matter how many people I touch, it's not going to be enough. I think that's great. I think you should have a mission so big that you're never going to actually accomplish it. I think of Ted Turner's father, who when he made a certain amount of money, became a millionaire, whatever the number was, he killed himself because he hit his goal. And hitting your goal is actually sad. And so Ted Turner decided that I'm going to set a goal so big that I can never hit it. And that's way more where I'm aligned. I think you should have a mission, something so big that you can never hit it. Some people think of that as, well, it's too big, and so why even try? And I think of that starfish example of the kids at the beach with the starfish, and there's like 1 million starfish on the beach, and she's throwing the starfish back in the water so they can live. And the guy walks by and says, "What are you doing? You can't save all the starfish." And she says, "I know, but I can save that one, and this one, and that one." Right? And so each person that you help, each step you take is beneficial, it's helpful. You never want to actually hit the goal, but you wake up every day working your face off to try to hit the goal, right? To hit that mission. And so that's belief for me, and I desperately hope that you find it for you. Nobody wakes up every day and says, "This is gonna be the greatest day ever." Not Dan Locke, not Evan Carmichael, not Tony Robbins, nobody. You wake up and you're tired and you have stuff in your eyes and you have lines on your face from the pillows. The difference between successful people is that they demand excellence from themselves through the habits and routines that they do daily. The problem is that thinking that these people are different, that if you're not waking up with tons of motivation ready to take on the day, that something is wrong with you. The only thing that's wrong with you is you don't have the habits that set you up for success every single day. And today, I want to change that. So I have a 5S morning routine that I go through every single day that sets me up for success, that demands excellence. I'm going to share with you guys today. The first S is sing. The fastest way to change your state is to put on music. The fastest way to go from feeling low energy, tired, bored, into an energy of I am ready to go is music. Put on the song, not that makes you feel the current way that you're feeling. This is where most people mess up. You put on music for how you're currently feeling. If you're feeling really sad and low energy, you're gonna put on really mellow, slow music. What does that do? It keeps you in the same state that you're in. It keeps you exactly where you are. What you wanna do is put on the music for how you wanna feel. And so I have a playlist on my main channel called the Believe playlist, which is the songs that I listen to. These are the songs that I listen to every day. They may work for you, they may not work for you. There's no perfect song for everybody. There's a perfect song for you. And so build a playlist of the songs that make you come alive. Here's the criteria. If this song came on, it would force you to start moving. If the song came on, you find yourself doing this. If the song came on, you would get out of your chair and want to move around. Doesn't mean you're going to dance like crazy. Doesn't mean you're going to start belting out the lyrics. That may be you, awesome. But if you're a little more introverted or don't like to dance, something that would make you move, something that would get you at least in your chair doing this. That's what I want. Make a playlist and put that on as the first thing that you do every single morning. It'll make a huge difference to setting the tone, changing your state, and giving you energy and momentum to start the day. S number 2 is sun. I like getting outside. I think there's something about getting outside of your home, of your condo, your apartment, getting outside, getting some fresh air, just being out in nature makes a big difference. Getting some vitamins on your face from the sun outside, but also signifying that you're leaving your bedroom, you're leaving the condo, the apartment, the home, you're leaving what happened last night, and you're ready to go off and start the day. This is especially important if you're working from home, because it's easy to have your office right next to your bedroom, or maybe your office is your bedroom, and carry that bedroom energy, that tired, I just woke up, I want to stay in bed, I want to sleep energy into your work, and you won't do great things if that's the energy you're carrying to your work. So having some kind of ritual that splits up sleeping energy to I'm ready to go energy makes a big difference. And I find the easiest way to do it is to get outside and get some sun. Bonus points if you're in a condo or apartment to take the stairs instead of the elevator. S number 3 is soar, and this is the most important thing for me. If you only take one of the 5, I think this is the most important one to take. What is the thing that makes you soar every day? What's the thing that makes you feel alive, bold, confident? What is that? And put it into your morning routine. At some point in your life, you felt bold. You felt unstoppable. You felt confident. It's happened to everybody. The problem is you don't feel that way consistently every day. You go through these bursts, these moments of, man, I could do such amazing things, but then the next day you wake up and you're a different person. You're back to the, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know. Who am I to go do this crazy thing? That's the problem. So whatever the thing is that makes you feel like you can come alive, that gives you that boldness and confidence, plan it with intention every single day into your morning routine. For me, what I do is I record a message on my phone to Instagram, to my stories, I put it to LinkedIn and Twitter. Right now I'm putting it everywhere, but I need to make a message. So I think of somebody that I helped yesterday. I think of somebody who commented on a video, who I met in person, who I coached on my Instagram Live, somebody that I helped yesterday. And then I make a message channeling that person. I won't say the person's name, but I have them in my head that I need to remind myself that the work that I do is important. It's easy to get lost in numbers. It's hard to imagine that 200,000 to 300,000 people watched my videos yesterday. That's crazy. It's a wild number, right? It's wild. It's hard to, like, what does that even mean? I don't know. I'm just sitting here talking to a camera in my office, and 200,000 to 300,000 people are watching my videos. It's crazy. I need to think down to the actual person. I need to think about an individual, that this matters to somebody, that the work I do really means something to them. And then I need to record a message and share it. That helps me soar, and I do it every day. What is the thing for you? What makes you soar? Maybe it's watching the 254 series that I put up every day. Maybe it's watching the espresso videos like this that I put up every day. And some people, every day, this is part of the morning routine, is watching an espresso video, and I'm humbled to be part of your morning routine. For other people, it might be meditating, it might be watching a video, it might be reading a book, listening to a podcast. I don't care what the thing is. But you have felt bold, unstoppable, and confident at some point in your life. What led you to feeling that way, and then demand it of yourself every day by putting it into your morning routine? The third S is soar. It's the most important one. The fourth S for me is sweat. This is just about being healthy, having a healthy lifestyle, and I want to do something that makes me sweat. So whether it's a HIIT workout, a cardio workout, a weights workout, I put that into my daily routine because I want to bust a sweat and I want to stay healthy into my 40s, which is coming up, and then into my 50s and beyond. And then the last S for me is scare. I want to do something every day that scares me. What I'm doing right now is I take a cold shower. So after sweating, I need to have a shower. Don't want to show up to work all smelly. And so I hop in the shower, but right away start turning it colder and colder and colder and colder and colder. And then right at the very end, I go all the way cold and I freeze. And even just thinking of it right now, it sucks, which is the best. Right? You want to do the thing that scares you every day. You're teaching yourself that I do scary things. So whatever is scary for you, whether it's taking a cold shower, whether it's making a phone call, whether it's sending an email, making a video and posting it, doing scary things, teaching yourself, getting that out of the way right from the beginning, I find really helps me. You are a product of your environment. The people around you are keeping you exactly where you are. And if you love where you are, then keep with those people. But if you want more out of life, if you've got bigger dreams, bigger ambitions, then you're going to have to let some of those takers go. Now, I've been pretty fortunate that I haven't had any real takers in a long time in my life. But here's the thing, it's easy to recognize the people who are really negative in your life and want to eliminate them. But then once you've done that, you'll still find that there's this middle ground. There's these people who bring you energy, who are amazing, who lift you up, who are awesome to be around. And there are people who are negative that you cut out of your life. But then there's that middle ground of people who, they're just okay. They're not bad. They're not great. It's just okay. And if you want to raise the quality of your life, if you want to raise your standards, you can't be hanging around, at least spending most of your time with people who make you feel just okay. So I got back from an event with Tony Robbins not that long ago. I think it was last year when I went with my friend Mark Drager, and Tony at the end of his events has you do this fire walk. And he lays out these, coals, these hot burning coals across a parking lot, and you have to walk over it. And he has you sing cool moss, and it gets you all excited and amped up, ready to cross the walk. And the idea is you're doing something that you're afraid of. You're doing something that you're scared of, and to show yourself that you're capable of doing difficult things. Mark and I decided to actually skip the fire walk because we rushed home, and I did the real fire walk, which was in my life letting go of a number of people who were just okay. It wasn't that they were bad or toxic or big takers from my life. It was just okay. And I realized if I'm spending all my time on things that are just okay, things, people, projects, ideas that are just okay, that make you feel just okay, right? It's good is the enemy of great. If it's really bad, you're gonna let it go. But if it's good, you just keep it around. And then suddenly the good becomes your standard. Your good becomes acceptable. When did good become acceptable? That's what you need to draw the line in the sand and say the ideas that are just good, I need to eliminate from my life. The people that are just good, I need to either eliminate or spend less time with them, to leave room for the things that are great, extraordinary, excellent, raising your standards, making you believe more in yourself and your capabilities. And so coming back from that event, it was on that day, not even coming back, it was on that day, I went back to my Airbnb with Mark and I let go of multiple people in my life. And not let go and say you suck, just basically moving on. And that allowed me to have a lot more momentum now. Now I had a lot more free time that allowed me to focus on things that would build me up, that would explode my growth forward. And it's been a crazy year. It's been basically a year. November 2018 was when that happened. So now it's been almost a full year. I guess by the time this video comes out, it's been a full year. Wow, that's crazy. It's been a full year since that happened. You have to let go of the takers first, and then you have to start thinking about, are the people around you just good? Are your ideas just good? And slowly start getting rid of those ones. The projects, the tasks, look at your calendar. What's just good in your life, and get rid of it and leave room and focus on the things that are extraordinary, that fill you up, that build you up, that make you feel amazing because you deserve it. And all of your great work, all of your great activities, all of your great momentum, your great impact is going to come on the other side of doing amazing things. You will never create something amazing when you're working on something good, when you feel good, and definitely not when you feel bad. Also, if you want to have more self-belief and more self-confidence, I have designed a free training program just for you where every day for the next 254 days, I'll send you an email with an unlisted video to help you boost your confidence. The science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action to build a habit. And so I want you to build the habit of self-belief and self-confidence. It's 100% free. The link to join is in the description below.
The people who win work the hardest because they love what they do.
Create an outline and a schedule. What I found really helpful for me was to create an outline at the start.
If you're doing work that you love, you're more likely to follow through. You're more likely to do it because it doesn't feel like work, because you love doing it.
I'm really introverted. It doesn't come across, right? But I am. I'm really introverted. I don't talk to people on the airplane next to me. Is Justin in the house? There's Justin. So I sat next to Justin on the airplane on the way down. So usually I just tell it as a theoretical example, but I actually sat next to somebody on the airplane, Justin, and he's trying to make small talk, and I wasn't trying to be rude, small talk makes me anxious. Like, it gives me crazy anxiety. And so I remember everything he said. I remember he woke up at 4 a.m. to catch a 6 a.m. flight, to get in at 2 a.m. here with me. He likes his coffee decaf with 1 sugar and 1 cream. He has a black leather Toomey bag. And so, I remember all this stuff, but we didn't really talk. That's pretty much all we talked about on this 5-hour flight down from Newark to here. And so I just get super anxious when doing small talk and networking. At the same time, I'm scared to make videos. So on my YouTube channel right now, have you guys watched some of my videos on YouTube? Okay, decent. All right. I've got 6,000 videos recorded on my YouTube channel. 2 million subscribers, 300 million views, all organic. I'm the organic guy. These guys are pros at paid ads. I'm not fantastic at that, but organic, I'm your guy. And I still get afraid to turn on the camera and press record. 6,000 videos later, because I want to be an icon too, and I want to get my message out. And every video that I make, I want it to be the best I've ever done. But I'm still afraid to go out and make the content. Being on stage always gives me crazy anxiety, right? I was speaking a couple weeks ago in Whistler, and the speaker before me was David Goggins. You know David Goggins? He's like the most intense human alive, crazy Navy SEAL ninja. And then the guy after me was football player Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was out, so it's like David Goggins, me, Peyton Manning. All right, like boom, 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 right? And in all honesty, last year when I spoke at Growth, I had the biggest panic attack of my life backstage. It's 10 minutes before going live. There's this big wind up and lead up and just bring me out, I can't wait to go. And my heart's going like crazy, and I just forgot how I was going to start my presentation, right? I just blanked. Have you guys had that happen where you're about to get on a call or a presentation and you had it all down, you practiced 1,000 times, but then you just go blank? Great, that was me. Just before I'm about to come up and speak to a couple thousand people. It was the first time I met Brendan So, he invited me out. We connected through Ethan. It was the first time I met him. He was doing an interview backstage, and he said, hey, Evan, I'm going to end my interview because I want to make sure that I'm watching your presentation. Like, oh my gosh, come on, really? Can't you just have a coffee or something backstage? But it's great. And he's going to give me feedback. Like, oh my God, okay, I'm ready for the feedback. And so I get on stage and do my thing. But just before that, what got me over it was I took a little peek behind the curtain, and I saw a bunch of you guys. And I reminded myself that I'm not here for me. I'm here for you. Right? Don't be so selfish. Right? Yeah, you can clap that up. It's not about me, it's about the message. And so the reason why, and even this lead up here, I'm sitting backstage, Ethan's calming me down because my heart's going crazy. Brendan is talking about the genius ideas that I told him backstage, oh my God, Brendan, look at the setup. Oh, I better deliver. And I tell you this because I've seen a lot of people from the Arizona event. I got stopped a lot over the past couple days, and they said, Evan, I loved your speech. It was amazing. Like, oh, thank you. Did you start your channel? Where is it? It's like, oh, no, I haven't done it yet. I'm like, what? That was how many months ago? You loved my speech, but what happened? And at the end of the day, it's just fear. You can come up with a really logical reason why you haven't posted yet, but really you're afraid that it's not perfect. You're afraid that nobody's going to watch it. You're afraid that people are going to watch it. You're afraid you don't know the technology, you don't know the gear, you don't know the team. You're just afraid, and we cover it with the reason why we can't do it, right? But really it's just fear. And so I wanted to share my fear with you because you might look at Dean and Brendan and all these mentors that you have, and they come on stage and they just look amazing. And you're like, well, I can never be like that. But at least for my story, I'm always scared. Right? I'm always playing anxious and nervous. I think if you don't have anything that makes you anxious and nervous in your life, then you hate your life. Right? Because then you're just staying inside your comfort zone. You know exactly what to do. You're photocopying your life over and over and over again. And so life isn't about having no fears. It's about conquering the fears. What Dean said yesterday about having the courage to jump out of the helicopter, right? To be on the edge here of the helicopter or the plane and say, I'm going to jump, to have the courage to do that. That's what you guys need to do. And why I share it is because the biggest reason why you guys aren't taking the action on the most logical opportunity, the biggest opportunity in front of your face right now is just because of fear.
Your brain is keeping you afraid and preventing you from achieving everything that you want. Because your brain is practical, it's logical, it only understands a world that currently exists. And if you want to change the world and you don't learn how to hack your brain, you are going to play scared for life. So I was trying to think about, as I was watching this video, when was the last time that I felt really overwhelmingly scared? I might not be able to do this. I can't do this. I'm not capable. I'm not worthy. I don't think I'm gonna deliver a good job. And the only idea that came to mind recently of a big thing was when I was speaking at the event in Phoenix. And I was invited by Brendan Burchard and Dean Graziosi, and I was speaking at their event, and before me was Eric Thomas on day one, and I was the last speaker on the last day. And I remember the day of, I was pacing backstage about an hour, 45 minutes before the actual event. I'm there, I'm pacing, I'm walking back and forth. Brendan Burchard said he's gonna watch my entire speech and give me feedback after, which only adds to the pressure. And there was a moment where I blanked out. There was a moment, maybe 10 minutes before I went on stage. I'm standing backstage and I blank out. I don't even know what I'm gonna talk. What am I gonna talk about right now? I don't even know what I'm gonna talk about right now. It's been a long time since I felt that level of desperation, insecurity, overwhelm, because usually as soon as I hear myself saying, this is hard, this is difficult, I say, okay, let's go do it. The challenge in this situation was I couldn't just get up on stage whenever I wanted. And so I'm left sitting there walking backstage thinking, oh my God, what if I don't win? What if I don't give a great performance? What if I let everybody down, which is my greatest fear? What if I let the audience down and Brendan down and Dean down? And I just forgot what I'm gonna say. How do I even start my presentation? I'm gonna get up on stage and just face plant. It was this, I don't know, minute of just real desperation, of feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get up there and suck. I don't know what I'm gonna say. And then the thing that caught me, and I'm so grateful that it did, because the training, this is how you train yourself. The training came in. I said, what are you doing? You're Evan Carmichael. Let's go. And that may sound super egotistical, but I think the self-criticism only works when it's based off a foundation of self-love. Like, I think you need to celebrate yourself more. I think you need to recognize yourself more. Not bragging on social media that you did some fake goal that you know didn't take a lot of work, but you might get some accolades for from your friends and people following you. I'm talking about, what do you tell yourself? Like, when you walk past yourself in the mirror, do you see a rock star? Do you see a stud? Do you see somebody who's gonna go change the world? Most people is no. And if it's a yes, it's not consistent. And so I think doing the work to tell yourself that you're amazing, I think that should be a default answer every time you're nervous, is to say, I'm, fill in your name. I'm you, your name, right? I'm Evan Carmichael, let's go. And that motivated me to then instantly remember what the thing was. It wasn't that I forgot what I was gonna say, I was just too stressed out and blocked that I couldn't actually get through to what I was supposed to go out and talk about. And so that shift in my state, by telling myself, I'm Evan Carmichael, let's go, allowed me to connect to it and then go off and deliver, at least what I thought was a pretty great speech and event.
You haven't said that this is the thing. This is what I have to accomplish today. This is the mission that I am on, and nothing is going to stop me. If you don't learn to focus on what's important to you, you'll never do important things and live your life reacting to what's important to other people instead. So I recently started a new business with one of my Thought Leadership Academy students, Jeremy. He came to my event last year. I was thinking about him on my tour this year and said, I want to start a business with Jeremy around YouTube consulting. I get asked a lot, hey Evan, can you check out my channel? Hey Evan, can I work with you? Hey Evan, can I hire you for XYZ? Looking at my channel, giving me ideas, mentoring, guiding me. And it's just not the business that I want to be in, but it is a business. And so I thought, Jeremy's going to come on board. He's going to do it. Now, when I recruited him and called him, he was not a YouTube expert. And I gave him the homework and said, listen, if you want to do this business together, it's got to be important to you. I'm halfway through my trip on my tour. I'm coming back in a month and a half. Here's what I need you to know by the end of the month and a half. And I gave him resources, I gave him videos, I gave him insights and analytics and said, you need to know all of this. Know all of this. And then when I come back, if you're ready, we'll start the business. And he did. He focused. He made it his priority. He knew nothing about this, and all of a sudden he became an expert by every day, all day long, grinding to learn. By researching everybody who is an expert at this, understanding their methodologies, their best practices, looking through all my videos, my thumbnails, my strategies, all the things that I've talked about in the past, digesting it, kind of like the Matrix, when Neo's in the Matrix and now he can learn Kung Fu, and now he learns how to fly a helicopter, all of that stuff. That's basically what he did. And when it came back in a month and a half, I put him to the test and said, hey, let's do 2 free calls. We'll take 2 people from my community and say, hey, free call, let's go. And he blew me away with how much he knew because he focused on it. Here's a guy who went from knowing almost zero to now being an expert to be able to really help give value to people. And now when we're looking at new people coming in, I barely have to do anything. Because he already knows what I'm gonna say. He already knows, he's already done the work, he's done the research, because he spent that time on focused effort. And this is where I think a lot of people feel like they're never gonna win because you may not have had the expertise, you don't have the education. It doesn't take long to become an expert. It's just focused work that you're passionate about. Focused work, you could quickly become, in a matter of months, an expert at something if you just focus in on it and dedicate your life to that thing that you love. You can easily pass people who are experts at something who don't love their thing, but because you're willing to take it on, you're willing to absorb. Think about when you went to school. How much of the information you had in your head, but you had to read over the page 4 times. So you're at the same page 4, 5, 6 times because you got lost, you got distracted. That's not focused work because you don't love that thing.
If I can't tell the difference between you and all of your competitors, then the only reason why I'm gonna buy from you is because you have a cheaper price. You don't want to win on being the cheapest. You're amazing, you're a genius, you have Michael Jordan level talent, and it's time for the world to see it. You need to stop hiding. So I remember not too long ago, I was in New York and I was meeting with former mentor. Wow, that's hard to say 3 times fast. Former mentor. Okay, got it. Yes. meeting with a former mentor of mine, and he was asking what my competitive advantage was. And I said, believe. I said, believe, what is that? Like, believe. I want people to believe. I want to give people hope. I want people to have hope that it's possible and show them another way. It's like, hope. You can't be in the hope business. You're selling hope? What is that? You're never going to win off of hope. You can't win off of believe. That's just silly. And you know, a younger version of me would have felt, man, I don't know, maybe he's right. Here's this guy who's had so much experience and done so many things. Who am I to judge? I don't know. I've never done this before. But the me who was listening to him was like, this guy just doesn't get it. I'm going to crush off belief. I already am crushes off belief. People stop me and say, hey, you're the believe guy. Yeah, that's my mission, yo. That's what I'm doing every day. That's what I wake up trying to spread. It's the world's biggest problem, and I'm tackling it. I'm going to make my dent in the universe, Steve, right? I'm going to go make my dent in the universe. That's my competitive advantage. And there may be people who don't understand it, and that's okay. You can't let their limited view of the world and super limited view of you prevent you from going off and doing your thing. People think that closing is a bad word, that salespeople are slimy, and closing someone on something is good for you, but not necessarily good for them. Now, some people are like that, but it doesn't have to be you. You want to help people. And if you know that they should be taking action in an area where they are not, their ability to follow through and listen to your advice is directly in relation to your ability to close them. If you want to help people, you need to learn how to close. I was really in this same camp. You know, I thought salespeople were slimy. I'm a humble Canadian with humble parents, and never really learned about sales and techniques and closing, because that's what bad people do, you know. And my passion is to live a life of service, and I saw my mom do it. You know, she's on the wall behind me, and all the great efforts that she went through to help humanity and the people around her. And there was a moment in time I realized that there was this one moment that this is when I needed to learn how to get better at closing. This is when I realized I need to learn this skill, because if I don't, it's going to limit my impact that I want to build, that I want to help people, right? It's going to limit my impact. So here's what happened. There's an entrepreneur friend of mine. He had this successful business that he was thinking, do I sell it or do I just let it run on autopilot? Sell it or let it run on autopilot? Because he wanted to go off and do something else. He wanted to leave the country, join a different business, start something new. And this company that he created, he was on the fence whether he should just let it go and sell it, or go off and try to bring somebody on who would just run it and he could be on autopilot mode. The allure of passive income and just everything's going to be done for you automatically, right? Anyway, so I told him, you need to sell the business, sell it now, sell it while you still have one foot in the water, sell it while you still have some kind of care for the company before you hate it. Because once you're moving on and doing other things, any involvement in this business is going to be such a drain and a drag for you. You can't be in this thing. You need to move on. And he hemmed and hawed, I wasn't sure. And I wasn't good at closing him. I wasn't a good enough communicator to help him through that decision, because I knew that was the right thing for him. Anyway, he didn't do it. He didn't sell the business. He thought he's gonna live this life, you know, live overseas and have this business run on autopilot. And then the business crashed. The business crashed because the person that he brought in didn't care as much as he did, wasn't the owner like he was. He wasn't there to make sure things happened. When crises, you know, did happen, he wasn't super responsive. And eventually the business just fumbled, just disintegrated, just fell apart. Even telling a story now brings me back, because I see that as my responsibility. Because he could have sold it and got a good price. It may not have been the price that he wanted, but it's way better than just watching his business slowly tank over time. And I knew it was the best answer for him, and I didn't push hard enough. I didn't close him that this is what he needed to do. Now, you may be watching and saying, well, it's not your responsibility, it's his responsibility. You know, he should have known better. You can only do so much. And yes, at the end of the day, I can only do so much, and it's up to him to be able to make that decision. But I could have done better, right? I could have done better. I did not do my best because I didn't know how to close. I didn't learn the skills. And as a result, you know, somebody close to me suffered. And so I decided that I needed to get better at it. I needed to learn more. I needed to improve myself so that with every entrepreneur that I meet, I'm a little bit better. I'm a little bit stronger. I can guide them just a little bit better. And if that my improvement in helping close them means that they have a massive success because they decided to take that path instead of going down the wrong one because they were afraid or greedy or whatever other reason, that's amazing. And if you want to influence people, it's the same thing. If you want to help people, not just sell your product that benefits you and doesn't benefit them. I'm not talking about using it for nefarious purposes, right? You want to help people. You have to learn to close them. Through care, through heart, through effort, through energy. You have to learn how to close them.
Are you enjoying, Evan? Evan, you enjoying lying down on the beach?
Yes.
Evan, you look very comfortable.
Yeah. Gotta do what I gotta do. Gotta do what I gotta do.
How are you doing, Evan?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm great.
I'm great. Nina wants to do this. How often?
A lot.
A lot? Like a lot means like once every 3 years?
No, once a week.
Wow, once a week. Well, I'm getting stuff done. Let's go.
I like the heat. The heat is nice.
Hey, listen, there's heat anywhere Nina goes.
Water's cold. The water's cold, Evan.
Well, colder than expected.
Yeah. Look who we bump into! Sebastian!
Y'all just hanging out. Nina got bored, so we left. Nina got bored, so we left.
because I couldn't nap.
You got bored. I was fine. Nina got bored, so we left.
I just want to go for a walk. I just want to go for a walk at the beach.
Nice.
Why do you get depressed after you accomplish a goal? You celebrate a goal for 5 minutes and then you're sad. Why is that? It's because you had the wrong goal. Your goal should not be to climb to the top of the mountain because the only spot left is to go down. Your goal should be to climb forever. You never stop climbing. You're on a mission. You're trying to save the world. Stop asking, when can I stop? You don't. You don't want to. You want to climb forever. You don't want to stop. Not now, not ever, because you are on a mission. So one of my biggest fears is the aging rock star. I look at some of these rock stars who made it big when they're in their 20s or 30s, and then as they get into their 40s, 50s, sometimes even 60s, they're still playing, which is great. They're still on tour, which is awesome. But what are the songs that they're singing? The songs that they're singing are still the ones that they came up with when they're in their 20s or 30s. And I can't imagine that. I can't imagine coming up with a video in my 20s. Was I on YouTube in my 20s? I was 10 years ago, right? April 2009. I was on 9? Wow, I'm getting old. April 2009. Yes, April 2009. So I was 29 when my first video went up. Great. If I'm still showing that video all the time, if I'm still showing my 40th video, then that's the one that hit. I just feel like it's such a letdown. I mean, it's great that you're still on tour. It's great that you're still being asked to get on stage, but to sing the same songs over and over and over again, for me, I'm not trying to judge or say that they suck. For me, I'm terrified of that. I don't want that to be me. I don't want to think of the video that I made last year is my best video ever, and all I'm gonna do for the rest of my life is just play that same video over and over and over and over again. I want to climb forever. I want to challenge myself to come up with new stories each time, whenever possible, making these kind of videos. I want to always push the envelope. I want to always discover new formats. I want to always look at splitting up my channel or bringing them all back together or launching a course. Always something new. Always climbing. I don't see it as this mountaintop. There is no mountaintop. You're on the staircase and you're climbing forever and you're never going to get to the top. You don't want to get to the top. That's sadness. That's despair. When you've accomplished everything there is to accomplish, you hate your life. That sucks. You celebrate. This is what happens for high achievers, right? You celebrate for 5 minutes, like, man, we did it. And then it's a big letdown. When I crossed 2 million subscribers on my YouTube channel, 1 million subscribers, I didn't want to celebrate. Like, because the day-to-day is a celebration. Because this is celebration. This, making this video right here. This is my celebration moment. The process, the actual part of climbing, right? I'm trying to get better every single time. 6,000 videos later, still going. When do I stop? I don't. I want to make 6 million videos, right? My goal of hitting 1 billion entrepreneurs, I don't actually want to hit 1 billion entrepreneurs. I want to have a goal so big that I never do it. And so I don't want to be that aging rock star. I hope that when I'm 95 years old, I may, not have my mind totally there. My body might be giving up on me, but I'm hoping that I'm still trying to push the envelope. Still trying to do more, do my best. And maybe if I get lazy, complacent, slow, if I start complaining, you catch me complaining when I'm 95 years old, show me this video back. Show me this video and say, look, you've become what you said you didn't want to become, right? Hold me accountable. I think as soon as you stop growing, you're dying. And I think that's why so many people are unhappy, because they've actually stopped growing a long time ago. And so don't be the aging rock star. I don't want it for me. I don't want it for you either. You are staying small because you're afraid. You're afraid of the worst case scenario coming true, losing, having no money, and being embarrassed. But you know you're capable of more. You know the way that you're going about doing things right now is nothing compared to what you're capable of. Unless you lose that scarcity mindset, you're always going to stay small, knowing that you are capable of more. Today, I'm going to show you how. So one of the easiest ways to get out of your scarcity mindset is to go from idea to action. As soon as you get an idea, you do something about it. And sometimes often that idea is going to be too big, too scary, too crazy. You can't do it. Who are you to do this? You don't have the money, resources, time, connections, energy, right? All of that, all of the excuses that come into your head. I like to teach myself that as soon as I get an idea, I go do something. It may not work, but you have genius ideas, trust them, go do something. Most people either have no idea who they are and what they want, or they do, but they don't have the courage and confidence to chase it down. If you don't know who you are and what you want, then that needs to be your immediate priority. That's the single most important exercise that you can do right now. If you know what you want, but you're not chasing after it, having more confidence in who you are will give you the courage to chase it down. Either way, I'm gonna give you the answers in this video. So when I first started making videos, I sucked. You can go back, you can watch the first one. It was April 2009, over 10 years ago. I sucked, I was nervous, I was shy, I was trying to memorize lines, I was sitting down, I was in a suit, I was sweating. I sucked, it was brutal. And making videos isn't a logical choice for someone like me. I was introverted, I still am. I was afraid of being in front of the camera. I'm looking into the lens and the red light went on and I went blank. I was trying to memorize my lines just on paper. If you saw me and you said what I was good at and then put me in a situation where I'm making videos, said, don't do that, that's not for you. Here's the thing, I liked it. I wasn't good at it, but I liked it. And when you like something, with enough effort, enough practice, most things, you can be great at it. Now I'm still on my journey. I still have a long way to go. There's still people I look up to, guys like Gary, who are crushing it and say, I still have my journey to get better on, but I'm a lot better than I was when I started. And now I'm off doing keynote speeches and I'm getting flown out and getting paid to speak in front of audiences. And I'm growing a channel with 2 million subscribers and then these sub channels on top of them. It's crazy because I was doing a thing that on paper, I wasn't supposed to be good at, but I just loved it. And that's where the self-awareness piece comes in. Because you will get an idea to go off and try something, but you'll judge the idea and you'll say, I can't do this because I don't have X and Y and Z and I'm not good enough and tall enough and smart enough or whatever enough, right? I'm not enough. And then you play small for life and you have uncertainty and you're walking on quicksand and you end up being pulled into making somebody else's dreams come true instead of you actually chasing your own version of your life down. Because you're thinking about all the reasons why you're not gonna win instead of the 8 why you will. So take it from me, a guy who's introverted, afraid of the camera, shy, doesn't like talking to people. If I can get here, so can you on your dreams. I feel like I'm always spending time with myself. I'm always talking to myself. I'm always reminding myself of how awesome I am, of the ideas that I have are great and I need to start acting on them. I'm very aware of my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, and whenever it's not feeling right, I switch, and I'll switch on a dime. As soon as this YouTube channel stops feeling worth it, not fun anymore, wrong energy, I'm out. And I'll just leave it behind and move on and go do something else. I think the same thing of meditation. I haven't been able to maintain and find value in a meditation practice because I think there's two sides of meditation, and I only recently learned the difference. The first is about focus and presence. I'm always focused, I'm almost always focused in presence. I'm 85% in the moment focused and 15% thinking about the future and 0% thinking backwards. Somebody asked me that question, how much time do you spend past, present, future in your day-to-day? Like 0 about the past. That's why I have a poor memory. Mark Drager says I have a poor memory. I just don't live in the past. So I don't remember most things because they don't matter to me. They don't apply to me. I'm not thinking about, even when you ask me how old I am, I have to think about the year. Who cares? I was born in 1980, May 20th, 1980. How is that relevant? Because you want to compare your journey to mine, that I've come this far at 39 and you made it this far at 24 or 54 or whatever. I don't know. I just don't think that way. I think 0 going backwards. And then most of the time is present and a little bit future, forward thinking. Whenever I'm feeling stuck, I'll spend more time with myself. If I feel like I need to go for a walk, I'll go for a walk. It's just paying attention to feelings. Another conversation I get into with Mark constantly is, I don't remember what I said, but I remember how I felt. And that's mostly where I live, just in the lens of feelings and constantly talking to myself. The reason why you are not chasing your big dream is because you're afraid that it's going to fail. You're afraid that it's not going to work, and what people will say about you and what you will think about yourself. But what's the alternative? It's sitting on your idea for years, never taking your shot because you're afraid, and living the rest of your life in regret, knowing that you had an opportunity, but were too afraid to take it. The way to not have regrets is to be always taking action. To, as soon as you get an idea, go do something about it. I had a great podcast with my friend Mark Drager a couple weeks ago, a month ago or so, where he was asking me about regret. And I used to always tell this story of, imagine you have a hangnail and how much that hurts, and it's all you can think about when you have a hangnail. But if somebody punches you in the arm, you don't feel the hangnail anymore because this hurts more, right? You focus on what hurts more, and suddenly this one doesn't hurt as much. That's how I would use regret. I would always think about whatever pain that I'm in right now, this thing that I want to do, but I'm afraid. I would imagine that this thing is going to be the best thing of all time, that this video I'm going to make, this speech I'm going to give, this client I'm going to meet is going to be the best of all time. And if I don't do it, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. For decades, I'm going to regret not taking action. And so the pain of doing the thing is the hangnail, and the future pain of regret for decades is the punch to the arm. And so it inflicts so much pain on me that then I have to go off and do that thing. And I used that for over a decade. Over a decade. That's the lens through which I made decisions and saw the world. But for the past 2 years, I haven't done that at all. I haven't talked about it. I haven't done it for myself because I talk about the things that I live. And I'm thinking, why? Why don't I do that anymore? Why don't I use future regret to fuel me? And I found that's because I'm always taking action. Because as soon as I get an idea, I do something. And so I don't judge the idea. I don't say, why me? I don't ponder on the idea. I don't just default to strategizing and thinking. I don't think, why did I come up with this? Why am I thinking about this? I just do it. You get an idea, you go off and do it. And that's been my mindset for the past year and a half, 2 years. And as a result, the breakthrough was, you don't live with regret. If you're always taking action on the ideas that you have, you don't live with regret. You might regret some of the things that you end up doing, but most of the things that you regret are not the things done, it's the actions undone. Not taken. The action's not taken. You don't regret the things that you did, you regret the things that you didn't do. That's most people, right? There may be a couple things that you regret that you did, but for the most part, it's the things that you are too afraid to do that you regret for the rest of your life. And so if you're constantly doing, if you're constantly taking action, if you're always jumping, then you don't have regrets. And it's been an interesting way that I now see the world, and hopefully you can learn from. As soon as you get an idea, you go off and you do something. You do that, you won't have any regrets. Everything that you want out of life is on the other side of your biggest fears. You want something more. You know you're capable of something more. You'll come up with a great reason why you can't do that something more, but really, you're just afraid. If you want to break through, if you want that dream life, you need to change the way you think about fear, or it will handicap you for the rest of your life. So my biggest fear is disappointing people. I'm afraid that whatever I'm gonna do, I might disappoint somebody, and that keeps me playing small. And so whenever I can recognize it, then I have to go all in and do it just to show myself, because it allows you to play on a bigger stage every time. And that big fear you have is still there. It doesn't go away. You're just capable of slaying a bigger dragon each time. So what used to count as disappointing people, or my fear of disappointing people, might have been going to a coffee meeting and helping an entrepreneur. I remember one time super clearly that I was booking a meeting with an entrepreneur, and I was so worried that I was going to disappoint her that I was hoping that she would cancel. And the story I told myself was, I'm too busy, I got all this stuff to do. You know, the realistic reasons that you can convince yourself, right? They weren't stupid reasons, they were realistic. But deep down was, I'm just afraid. I'm afraid that she's going to show up and I'm not going to give her value. It's a deep fear. And then once I went to go meet her, it was amazing. I remember sitting in my car and saying, wow, like an hour and a half ago, I was hoping that she was going to cancel on me, and this is the greatest thing of all time, right? Your biggest fears prevent you from living the life that you want. And so I'm afraid of disappointing people. Most of the time you can't catch it. I think we play small by default. I think your greatest fear owns you and is giving you tons of logical reasons why you can't do that thing. But whenever you catch it, whenever you do actually catch and say, I think this is just my fear talking, that means it's go time. That means you have to do it just to teach yourself that you're able to conquer it and move to a greater level of success. Making money is about solving problems. That's the core of business. Someone has a problem, you see a solution, they pay you to solve it. If you're not making money, it's because you haven't solved a big enough problem yet. So let's use my YouTube channels as an example. Now we got so many YouTube channels, it's crazy. I saw a problem. I saw a need, right? I wanted visual content. I wanted to learn from successful entrepreneurs, and I wanted it done in a visual way. I used to read books a lot because books was the only way that I was able to get this information. I didn't have mentors to teach me about business, right? I had my parents who were amazing, who taught me how to be a human, but I didn't have any face-to-face mentors that I can go to, so I went to books. But I'm a visual learner. I'd much rather see it. I get a lot more by seeing Simon talk about a message than by reading his book. I just do. It's how I learn. And I think a lot of people are visual learners. And so it's why I started my YouTube channel. I started showcasing successful stories. I started sharing my story as well in the process. And it's been that duality from the beginning of saying, here's what you can learn from successful people, and here's my message as well. So DJ plus thought leader mixed together, and here we go. And we've had success because it solves the problem. Because a lot of you have the same problem. My problem is your problem. You want more success around you. You want to be surrounded by these people just like I did. And instead of you having to watch 40 hours of Simon Sinek content to find the best and mush it together, I do it for you. I actually didn't want to even have a YouTube channel. I didn't want to do this. I wish you did this. If one of you did this, I would just subscribe. Be great, be free. Here we go, amazing. It didn't exist. It wasn't out there. So I did it. And that's the process. You could scratch your own itch. You can see what problems other people have. But success in business comes from solving other people's problems. You subscribe to this channel because you like the content, because hopefully like the content. It adds value to your life. It solves a problem. It sets you up for the day. That's why I have this morning espresso series. It's 5 times a week, Monday to Friday, set you up for the day, give you this shot of energy, motivation plus ideas to help you go off and build your business. This is the problem that I solve. What's the big problem that you solve? The trick to getting yourself into action mode is to trigger yourself for success. Triggering yourself for success means you've taken the decision making out of it, that as soon as you come up with an idea, you have trained yourself by default into action mode. You see, your brain will always talk you down from things because it's trying to keep you safe, and it only understands a world that currently exists that is logical and practical. Until you learn to trigger yourself for success, you will constantly doubt your thoughts, your ideas, and your actions. This video is gonna help. So today, I wanna talk about this bag right here. A lot of you leave comments, the newer fans of the channel say, why is Doritos sponsoring your videos? Evan, why don't you have a healthier sponsor? Don't you know what bad Doritos does to your body? You should be promoting healthy living. Doritos is not a sponsor, guys. This is triggering me for success every single day. And this isn't just some tiny bag. It looks small looking back here, but let me bring this up. Look at that. This is right next to my face. Look at how big that bag of Doritos is. I have a strategy, and it's a weird strategy, so maybe you'll love it, maybe you won't, but I have a strategy called Damn the Doritos. I look at this bag. So I'm sitting, this is how I'm working, right? I'm not sitting, I'm standing. I'm standing on a trampoline. This is my workspace right now, right? I'm standing here, I'm working. In the corner of my eye, I got Steve Jobs up here, and I got this giant bag of Doritos. All I want to do is eat this bag all day long. I want to destroy this bag of Doritos. Look at that giant chip. Oh, I'm gonna start drooling soon. I love it. I want to eat that all day long. This bag is here as a reminder of how great I am. This is the mental conversation inside my head. Evan, you're awesome. You're awesome for not eating those Doritos every day. And I want it as a reminder. People say, doesn't it take a lot of willpower? No, it builds, for me at least, builds the willpower, builds my strength. Every time I see that bag of Doritos, makes me feel better about myself, that I'm not eating it and I have the strength to keep going. And so why I have that here is when you're on a diet, right? This is how it began. When you're on a diet, your friends, your family, the experts will say, get rid of all the junk food from your house, get rid of it all, because otherwise you'll be tempted and then you're gonna eat it and then you're gonna ruin your diet. I think that is actually teaching yourself that you suck. You're teaching yourself, I'm a weird duck, you're teaching yourself that you are not strong enough to be around the thing, and so I need to get it out of my environment. The only way that I can stick to this thing is if this other stuff is nowhere close to me. I think you're telling yourself that you suck. I think it's a big crutch. And just like when you break your leg, you have a crutch. Your ultimate goal is to not have a crutch. It's to walk, it's to run, it's to be stronger than before, right? And so as a step one, maybe it's good, right? As a step one, okay, fine. You broke your leg, you have a crutch. You wanna get on a diet, you're addicted to junk food, get it out of the house, awesome. But as soon as you go on vacation, as soon as you go to an office party, as soon as you go to New Year's, any kind of party, you're gonna destroy the food because you've trained yourself every day that you suck, that you're not capable. I think you're a genius. I think you're stronger than you think. And so I tested it first with myself and I thought, you know what? Doritos are my nemesis, right? I love Doritos. Oh my gosh, just looking at that bag. So I went to Costco and bought the giant size bag of Doritos. I said, I'm gonna put this on my desk all day long. Because damn the Doritos, because the Doritos are stronger than me? I don't think so, right? I'm Evan Carmichael. And same thing for you. That thing that is holding you, that's stronger than you? I don't think so. Remember who you are. Remember how strong you are. And that's what this is here for. And it's been awesome to see people now take this up. Friend of the channel, Liron, was trying to get off of sugar. And he has this coffee cup with a saucer and he drinks his morning coffee and he put 2 packets of sugar on the saucer right next to the coffee. So he pours his coffee, has the sugar right next to it, and then he just starts drinking it and puts it down and looks at the sugar packs and then just drinks the coffee again and puts it down, looks at the sugar packs, and his wife thinks he's crazy. And he's a little crazy too. You gotta be a little bit weird duck, but I think this is actually how you build your strength. Mark Drager, another friend of the channel, is addicted to the Peak Freens cookies. You know, the ones that have the red on the inside and the cream in the middle. Those are among my favorites too. And so his COO, when he heard this, went out and bought all these boxes of Peak Freens and put it on Mark's desk. And he opened it up. And this is one of my favorite things to do. Whenever I'm around Doritos or something I really love to eat, not just say, oh, put that away from me. Don't be around me. I can't have that. And not just look at it. I want to smell it. So Mark took these cookies, brought it right up here. Peak Freen cookies, right up here. Oh, and you can just see the joy on his face just as he's bringing back memories and just what those cookies are gonna taste like when they enter his stomach, and just goodness everywhere, right? The smile on his face, maybe a little bit of drool coming out, you just, and then put the cookies down and walk away. And how great that makes you feel as a human to say, here's one of my biggest weaknesses of all time. Bring it. I own you. Put it down and walk away, right? I think that's how you actually build strength, by doing those difficult things, by triggering yourself for success. Every time I see the Doritos bag, I feel better about myself. I feel stronger about myself. And I want you to do the same thing. If any of you are gonna take on that kind of challenge, I wanna hear you. I wanna follow you. I wanna see how your journey is going, because it can be one of the biggest, most important life-changing decisions that you embark on. Most people focus on the problem instead of the solution, and that is why they fail. I like to say that there are a million reasons why your ideas will never work out, and only 8 why they will. Either way, you're right. So it's better to focus on the 8. Your heroes, the people that you look up to, the people that you love and want to be like, right? Your heroes all succeeded with less than what you currently have right now. If they can all do it, so can you. The only thing in your way are your excuses. So one of the things that I love most about both my wife and my team is that they're always willing to find a way. One of the things that Nina loves most about herself, I had her fill out this form maybe 2 years ago of like, what do you love most about yourself? And at the top was, she's a fast learner. She loves learning new things. She loves taking on new challenges. And I love that. I love that about her. And I love that in people. I think you should be a fast learner. I think you should love learning. I think you should always be taking on new opportunities. Right now on my YouTube channel, I've split up my channel into 8 or 9 different channels. And then just recently I split them up again where we launched a top 10 channel just for the top 10 videos. So the top 10 videos aren't on my main channel anymore. And then we're doing an everything channel where if you just want all the content, it's all on one spot. So it's chaos, it's crazy. My whole team has to be restructured and everybody's taking on new projects and responsibilities. And we were supposed to have a 1-month transition phase to do it. That was the recommendation. That was the aggressive recommendation, is to have a 1-month transition period. And for me, 1 month just is death. It's just death. I mean, I said, oh, okay, great, 1 month. But then as I'm into it, on the Tuesday of like the first week, like, guys, we need to launch like this weekend. We need to launch this weekend. Let's go, right? And there's so many reasons why it's not going to work. And there's so many problems. And yes, we're going to make so many mistakes. And people aren't trained properly. And there's more work. And we need to, we figure out who wants to do what and how. So many issues. Awesome. Let's go. I think about Ray, for example, on my team, who has been doing all these thumbnails. So I have a set design for my top 10 rules thumbnails that people love, and it's been going like that for years. And I've always been on my team to say, I don't care that everybody thinks our thumbnails are great. They can be better. How do we make them better? And so finally, after years of testing, we finally found the format that would win, that would beat our original thumbnails. And there's minor differences. We zoom in on the face, we got rid of the second logo, we make the text bigger, minor differences. And then Ray's been going back and updating split tests, doing against our old videos. And we have 1,400 different split tests on our videos. It's crazy. I think I split test more than anybody on YouTube. So he's going back and updating all the old thumbnails and trying to prove a winner each time. And he's maybe, I don't know, halfway through. Think about it, how many videos we have on the channel. We've got 6,000 videos. A lot of them are top 10s. Now with this change, I found a new format. We found a new format, a new thumbnail, different color scheme, different text, different pictures, different logo, new thumbnail format, and we found that it's working. And so I said, Ray, I know you just changed all the thumbnails. We gotta do it again. He's like, this is so exciting, let's go. Like, I love this guy so much, right? Where most people, what are they're gonna complain. They're gonna say, I just did all this work on this other thing, right? You don't want to be around people like that, and you definitely don't want to be that. For so many people, the problem is for so many people, that's you. That's not even people around you, that's you. You're thinking about all the sunk costs that you put into something. You're thinking about, I invested so much into this thing, and now you want me to shift everything? Yep. You need to be on the yep side now. You need to adopt that kind of mindset, that kind of personality. That just because I worked before, it doesn't mean it's gonna keep working. You find something new, it's better. Let's go. This is what the whole game is about. The number one biggest thing that you are missing is momentum. You're a genius. You've got Michael Jordan level talent. You are the best in the world at something. But until you match your effort to your capabilities, your dreams will never happen. So yesterday I had a young preacher reach out to me on Instagram. Young, like early teenager, reach out to me on Instagram and say, hey Evan, I'm a preacher. I'm trying to get my career going. I want to make YouTube videos. I want to spread a message. Can you watch my video and give me some feedback? And first off, I love young entrepreneurs who are going after it, who are not just sitting there making excuses as to why they can't because they don't come from the family, they don't have the right education, they don't have the right gear to make a video. And here's this guy, just takes out his phone against a simple background, poor lighting, it doesn't matter, right? Just takes out his phone, starts recording the video, and he's pretty good, right? For a kid who's 14, 15, 16 years old, he's pretty good. He's way better than I was. He's way better than I was when I started making videos at, I don't know when I started making videos, 10 years ago. How old am I now? 39, 29. He's better at 14, 15, 16 than I was at 29. That's amazing. I love it. But here's the thing. He was only making a video once a week. And so I said, I love it, man. But you gotta match your actions to your ambitions. You gotta keep going. If you want to be the greatest preacher on the planet, you gotta make more content. One, to practice, right? If you're a thought leader, if you're an expert, if what you are creating comes from here and you just speak it out, you need to be making a video every day. Every day. If you can freestyle as an artist, as a rapper, you should be making a video every single day. Now, if your videos require some massive setup, not because it's about the quality of your thought, but it's about fancy stunts or something that requires a lot more, fine. But if it's thought leadership, if it's content that's just coming out of your head, right? The quality of your ideas every single day. Once you get better, the more you do it, the better you're gonna get. It took me 350 videos until I wasn't completely embarrassed by my own content, right? I couldn't watch it back because I was too embarrassed. But oh, so bad. Now as I watch my videos, it's funny, whenever Nina comes in and she's seeing me watch my videos, I always have this big grin on my face, like I'm cheering myself on, like yeah, that's really good. And there's definitely still tons of room to improve, but it took me 350 videos before I wasn't completely embarrassed. And now I'm 6,000 or something videos in. It's hard to keep track. Your actions have to map to your ambitions. So if that's you, if you've got ideas, you've got knowledge, stop coming up with excuses and make the content, film it and post today and again tomorrow and again the next day and again the next day. And when you're creating so much content, one, again, you're getting better because the quantity leads to the quality, but two, you get less attached to one video having to be the thing. So often you make one piece of content, one painting, one song, one video, you make it, and then that has to be the thing. You're getting feedback and you're destroyed if it doesn't take off. If this video doesn't take off, great. Next, right? Next. Keep going, keep creating. You need momentum. So your actions have to map to your ambitions, right? Whatever idea you have in your head, you want to be the next Oprah of whatever industry, great. Let's see it. Let's see it in the work. Let's see it in the energy. Let's see it in the output that you are creating every single day. The fastest way to accomplish anything is to model someone who has already had the same success that you are after. You can go around trying to figure out everything by yourself, trying to come up with every new idea yourself, and you will slowly make progress towards your ideas. But until you recognize that success leaves clues, that whatever the thing is that you're trying to accomplish has already been solved by thousands and thousands of people, that all you need to do is model their success. Until you realize that, you're gonna constantly stay struggling, making slow progress, knowing that you're capable of more. So I first learned the power of modeling success with my first business, where I was struggling. I was 19, 20, not making any money, $300 a month, low confidence, filled with self-doubt, not getting results. You know, I turned down high-paying jobs to do this thing and own 30% of a company that seemed to be going nowhere. And I told my partner that I quit. And the thing that saved me when I hit my lowest point was, I am not the first person to try to solve this problem before. Maybe my specific scenario, yes. Biotech software, you know, from Toronto, who's done that before? Nobody. But a software company getting to $1 million, somebody's done that before. How about I just look at their success and try to emulate it? And so the only person I could think of off the top of my head was Bill Gates. So I looked at Bill Gates and how he got started, and it was through partnerships, and I applied that lesson to my business, and in a short amount of time had my first deal for $13,500. I felt like a rich man. You know, I felt like, holy cow. To go from $300 a month and saying I quit to now having a deal in place for $13.5K, and more important, the strategy that I could use again and again was life-changing for me. All because I modeled success. And that was, again, when I was 19, 20. So now what have I done for the past 20 years is just model success. What is my YouTube channel about? What is this video about? Modeling success. Why have these people behind me? It's not for you, it's for me. I want to model success. They're constantly pulling me up to a greater spot. Whatever problem you have has been solved. Not exactly the specific minutia, but by modeling Bill Gates, it took me 80% of the way. You still have to figure out that final 20%, but most people are trying to figure out the whole 100. That's the problem. I was struggling when I was trying to figure out the whole 100 all by myself. I just coming up with new ideas, new ways, new innovation, but nothing worked. All you have to do is figure out that last 20%. And so look to your heroes, look to potential mentors, whether you know them in person or not, they've done it before. They can teach you. Success leaves clues. You don't have to go through this alone, and you can ramp up your success really quickly. How you think about the problem is the problem. Most people are locked into losing thinking, finding all the reasons why you won't win. If you're the ant, think about how you can kill the elephant. If you're the elephant, think about how you can kill the ant. The problem is not the problem. How you think about the problem is the problem. So I used to think that introverts couldn't win. I used to think that to be a good speaker, to have a YouTube channel, to be an entrepreneur, that introverts can't win. And for the longest time, I hid behind the faces on my website. So before even starting YouTube, I started on my website. It was called evancarmichael.com. I didn't have a better name at the time. And I profiled different successful entrepreneurs. Basically what I do on YouTube, but on my website, because I wanted to share the stories. Modeling success saved my business, and I wanted to make it easier for other people to be able to get success on their own as well. So learn who's done it, apply those strategies, make it work for you, and let's go. And so I always hid behind the faces. I remember my first banner, I had Howard Hughes, a big Howard Hughes, Oprah Winfrey, and a couple other people. And people kept asking me, well, where's Evan Carmichael? You know, the website's off your name, you're putting this together, what's your story? And I thought, well, who cares about my story? I mean, sure, I built and sold my first business, but it's nothing compared to Howard Hughes and Oprah Winfrey, these people who've done great things. And it kept coming up over and over and over again. Translate that to my YouTube channel, Evan Carmichael was still the #1 requested top 10. And when I first started doing top 10s, we did Kanye West, shout out to Kanye there on the wall, and then a bunch of other people kept asking for mine. I'm like, well, what do you want mine? You mean, again, what have I done compared to Kanye West? And I always hid behind the fact that I was an introvert. And so I don't want to share my story, nobody's interested, I'm shy, I'm the wallflower, I don't go off and try to make myself the center of attention, I don't like, hanging out with people. And so I had this story that introverts can't win. It wasn't until I reframed it and thought, you know what, introverts can win in communications because we're better listeners. I'm a great listener. As much as you might think I love talking and making these videos and seeing the speeches that I do, what I love doing more than that is listening. And I think that's how you win as an introvert, because it's not about you just sharing, talk, look at me. You're trying to help. And I've met some amazing introverts who are on a huge mission and want to have a big impact and have to fight with themselves to get out of their comfort zone and have the spotlight on them instead of just being behind the scenes. But they're all great listeners. They become great communicators because they're great listeners. And so the problem wasn't that I'm an introvert. The problem is how I thought about the problem of being an introvert. Every time you say, I can't, you're teaching yourself that you suck. Because you've quit, because you've given up. It's not your fault that you can't do it. It's your work or your school or your family or all the other commitments that you have, but not your fault. Nope. Change your I can'ts to either I'm going to or I choose not to. That's how you take back control of your decisions and your life. So I recently listened to this Chinese song and I got obsessed with it. I was playing it all day long and I loved it. I don't know what they're saying. I don't know what the words mean. I loved it. I go to bed and lyrics start coming to me. Rap lyrics. In full sentences, right? The first one comes in, okay, wake up, I'm in bed, I'm lying in bed, I'm trying to sleep. It's 11 o'clock, trying to sleep. Idea, rap lyric come, okay. I write it down. Again, rap lyrics come, write it down. More, write it down until 3 in the morning. I haven't slept yet. Ideas just keep coming for this song that's like, I need to make a rap. And then what comes into my head is what? You're gonna make a rap? It's easy to get locked then into I can't mode. I can't do this. I can't start that. I can't do a rap. I didn't go to school for that. Not that you go to school for rap. I didn't rap growing up. I don't have musical talent. Right? That's not what people know me for. That's not what people expect from me. I can't rap. That's where most people quit. But instead, I decided I was going to get up at 3 something in the morning, go to my computer, finish writing out my lyrics, and then I spent the day rapping. And that night, finished the video, sent it off to Christina, my editor, to put it together, and the next day we released my rap video. Now, maybe you love it, maybe you hate it, it's gotten some decent responses. It was tons of fun to put together. And most importantly, I taught myself in all of these things. These are all great micro moments to teach yourself that you're amazing. Whenever you say, I can't, and you do it, that's how you build self-confidence. That's the birthplace of self-confidence, self-love, self-respect, is taking something that you think that you can't do and just trying. Not even doing it full out, because I don't expect my rap to go off and win any kind of awards, right? But I tried it, I did it, I released it. Expect to suck at the beginning, that's okay, it's normal, it's part of the process. But in those moments of I can't, and then turning them into something that actually exists, is where your genius will come. I look at my top 10 series, and it's partly why I have Kanye on my wall, because the first video that I made was on Kanye. First top 10 was on Kanye. It was 5 years into my YouTube career. I did a response to my friend Mark Drager from Phantom Media. And I said initially, I can't do this. Like, I can't make a video now on this. I have all these other commitments. I have a full day ahead of other stuff that I'm supposed to do. And said, no, I did action. I'm just gonna do it. Forget it. I'm gonna make it. And I didn't expect it to do well. Luckily, it actually did. And then that became this whole thing of making, I don't know how many top 10s, hundreds, maybe 1,000. I don't know how many top 10. How many top 10s have I done? I have no idea. But it started off as just idea. Trust your ideas. Know that they're amazing. Stop saying I can't to yourself. This is where you need to take control of your head and your heart. You have to make decisions with your heart and then use your head to figure out how to do it. Anytime you're doing something new, super important. Anytime you're doing something new, I'm gonna make a rap, I'm gonna make a top 10 video, I'm gonna do anything outside my normal thing, right? Same for you. Anytime you're doing something new, it doesn't make sense because it's new. What is brand new doesn't make sense. You're creating something new. And so your head, your logical brain that's designed to keep you safe, doesn't understand it. Its job is to protect you and says, don't do that. You can't do that. Because one, it's never been done, and because we have all these reasons why it's not possible for you, not just anybody else, for you. Like, you can't do it because you haven't done it before. That's what your head says. Your heart can create something new. Your heart creates art. Your heart makes up a world that hasn't existed before. And so at the very beginning of many projects, your head and your heart are against each other. Your heart's saying, I want to make this. Your head's saying, you can't make this. And so you end up staying stuck in limbo with all these ideas, never taking momentum because your head and your heart are fighting. You've got your foot on the gas and the brake at the same time, never moving, knowing that you're capable of more. And so you make the big decisions in your life with your heart, and then you rally your head to say, okay, we're doing this. I'm making the rap video. I'm making the top 10. You're gonna do your crazy idea. And then your head says, ooh, okay, they're serious. Let's figure out how not to die doing this, right? Let's figure out how to actually make it work. So you make the big decisions in life with the heart, and then you use your head to figure out how to go out and accomplish it. If you change how you feel about something, you change how you act. The problem is, most of the time, we don't catch our feelings. If you're feeling negative, angry, frustrated, depressed, it doesn't matter what the thing is that you're trying to accomplish, you're not gonna give it your all and you're not gonna get results because of your negative emotional state. If you don't start changing how you feel, you're never going to make progress on the goals that you set for yourself. So one of the things I love doing whenever faced in a negative situation is say, it's the best. It's the best. I'm wearing this hat. Says Fanta because friend of the channel, Mark Drager, pointed out to me when I was saying it's the best that I'm a reframer. I'm reframing. I never heard of the concept before. Reframing means you take this negative situation and then you spin it, you reframe it so that it's positive, so that it motivates you, so that it's exciting, so that it pushes you forward instead of it being a negative thing that is all-encompassing and depressing and brings you down. And he said, well, you're always positive because you're just a reframer. And he has this Enneagram, and I'm a number 6 or something. I don't know. He can give you more details. You want to know what number you are and what it means, go follow mark.drager on Instagram and ask him. But I don't think that's something that's just in me. I think everybody can learn how to do it. Everybody can learn how to reframe. You take whatever negative situation that's in front of you and say, this is the best. Right now, this is the best. Where this came from was I was on an airplane from Vancouver to Los Angeles. And that's a 5-hour flight, give or take. And I had to sit next to this really smelly dude, and there was no other option. I had to stay on the plane, I had to make my flight, I had to speak at this event. The only other option was get off the plane. And he was really smelly. I'm sure he didn't want to be smelly. I'm sure that wasn't his, intention or ambition. It just happened. Probably had 3 stopovers, hadn't showered in however long, and just, he stunk. And in my head, I'm trying to find solutions. There's no solutions. And so I'm upset. I'm complaining. You know, there's 15 seconds of back and forth. Say, this sucks. I can't believe it. And then here's what happens in my head. I say, this is the best. This negative thing that's in front of me right now, this is the best. This is my chance to show myself what I'm made of, right? And so he's sitting right here next to me. I'll look over and just breathe it in. Breathe that in. Breathe in that smell. Breathe it in. To show myself that this is not the limit, that this one dude is not going to ruin my day. And I feel great now about myself because self-confidence comes from doing difficult things. And I just did something difficult. And that's where it's the best came from. It was a quick trigger to myself to say, this is the best. It's the best. And now it's become this thing that anytime I'm facing a really negative situation that feels overwhelming, impossible, just want to complain, find somebody to blame and say, it's your fault. No, this is the best. This is my chance to show myself and the world what I am made of. And so you can flip it for yourself. What is so overwhelming, so impossible, so crazy that is bringing you down? You look at your calendar, you look at your list of emails, and it's just depressing. Great. This is the best. If you believe, like I believe, that your purpose comes from your pain, if you believe that the thing that you struggled with the most in life becomes your calling for the rest of your life, the time that you struggled and suffered the most as a human, your purpose for the rest of your life is to help other people who currently are who you used to be, then that thing that happened, that massively negative thing, the most painful moment in your life, actually is the best. Because it's going to allow you to serve hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of people through your purpose. So that negative thing's in front of you. Tell yourself, it's the best.
Most people have not taken control of their schedules. You wake up like an accident, start responding to other people's emergencies, and help other people build their dreams instead of you building yours. It's time for a change. You deserve better. And this video is gonna show you how. I think one of the biggest reasons why so many entrepreneurs don't take enough action is because when you get motivated, you don't do enough. You feel the motivation, you feel the boldness, you feel the confidence, but you're not taking enough action, you're not doing enough. I remember going to my first Tony Robbins event. This is before I knew Tony one-on-one, before I did the interview with him on my channel. I just went to see what would the event be like. I've seen so many different videos of so many different people, and I felt like, you know what? For most people going to their event, it'd probably be the same as just watching on YouTube. But for Tony, I felt, you know what? I think his event might be different. There's something that tells me by going to his event, it'll be different than what I just see on YouTube through the content. And so I went. I went with my wife. I went with 3 people on my team. I paid for everybody to go out and went to our first Tony Robbins event. And at the end of the last day, if you've never been to a Tony Robbins event, it's on fire, you're motivated, you're jumping, you're dancing, you're hugging, you're high-fiving, you're breaking through limits. It's amazing. And by the end of the last day, you see everybody in the streets, you're pouring out, everybody's all pumped up and energized, like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I remember one of the people that I brought with me, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do all this stuff. And he's like yelling and so fired up and excited. He's like, well, what are you doing, Evan? I'm like, I'm looking at my calendar. Because this is why so many people fall off. You go to an event like that and then you fall off because you're not making it consistent. Success is habits. So whenever you decide to make a change, you have to, at least for me, I look immediately to my calendar. So if my goal is now I want to be a big YouTuber, great. When am I going to make videos? It's got to be in the calendar. If it's not in the calendar, it's never going to happen. And so anytime you want to make a meaningful change, you have to default to thinking, what am I gonna put into my calendar? Because success is habits. And so it's great to be motivated. Maybe these videos do it for you. Maybe events, maybe books, podcasts, awesome. You're getting it from somewhere. You feel motivated, great. Show me in your calendar where you are spending the time to actually make the thing happen. Otherwise, you're just living off some fumes. You know, you get motivated for a day or two, feels amazing, and then you fall back down to normal. If you want that dream life, you want that next step for yourself, it's gotta come from changing your habits, changing what's in your calendar to make sure that what you say you want out of life, you're actually working towards making that happen.
If you want to become a millionaire or influence a million people, you need to learn to build trust. This is where you can really win as an entrepreneur because people have a really hard time trusting big companies to do the right thing. So this is where you win. You win by not trying to be exactly like the big companies. You win by showing that you actually care and will do the right thing by the customer. So bringing it to a YouTube world as an example, I think everybody should be responding to all comments. One of the things that I believe in is every comment we try to get a response to. Every comment gets a response. Every comment gets a response. And at the beginning, when you do any YouTube channel, it's easy. My first video on YouTube, it took me a year to get 3 comments. I made a video. Within 1 year, there were only 3 comments on that video. The first comment was my mom. Thank you, Mom. The second comment was my older sister. Thank you, Alexandra. And the third comment was from some random dude. Somebody discovered my channel, right? 1 year, 3 comments. Those are pretty easy to respond to, right? It's super easy in the early days when you're not getting comments. If you're getting a comment a day, a comment a week, a couple comments a day, it's easy to respond to. What happens when people scale is they stop responding to comments because they don't know how to scale the business. Because at the beginning, they're doing everything themselves and it doesn't take up a lot of time, but as you start getting more comments, it starts to take up more time. I get hundreds of comments every day on my YouTube channel. I can't respond to every single comment personally myself. If I could, if I did it, then I wouldn't do anything else. I wouldn't be making this video because I was spending all my time responding to people's comments, right? That's the process. But just like any other business, when you start a business, you're doing everything yourself. If you start selling flowers on the street, you're doing everything, right? You got to find the flowers, you got to sell the flowers, you got to distribute the flowers, you're doing everything. As you grow and as you get a flower store, then you bring on a team, right? And you have people who are selling flowers for you and opening the store for you and cleaning the store for you. You're still doing work, right? You're doing more important work. You can't do all of the tasks in the business at all times. If you're always doing everything, you're never going to scale. And so I believe that bigger YouTube channels should hire a team to respond to comments. I have an awesome guy on my team named Velko, who you'll see responding to a lot of comments, and he'll save the comments that I need to see. So if there's feedback or suggestions or improvements, I want to see them. If there's criticism, I want to see it. If it's just saying, thank you, Evan, for the video, amazing, I feel the love. I don't need to see all of those comments that come in, right? I'll sort through some of them, respond to some of them, but that's not going to be the best use of my time every day because then I'm not making videos. And so make that equivalent for yourself. At the beginning, it's easy to show heart, easy to show care because you don't have that many customers, because maybe you only have 1 customer. And so you can show them the love. But as you scale and grow, how can you continue to do that? Whether it's you doing that most important element yourself because that's the thing that drives it, or you have people on your team that really show that love and support because you want to make sure the customer feels respected and appreciated. It's really easy to build trust in a one-on-one situation. It's harder as you build and scale your clients. And so you need to build and scale your culture alongside.
Hard work is your ticket in. No matter where you come from, what you look like, what your skills are, hard work is always the ticket in. The odds might be against you. Awesome. Now what? Quit on your dreams or keep working hard? How you answer that question will change your life. So I have an agent in New York, and when I first started the agency, I almost didn't get in. I didn't get in because I'm a weird case for them. My agent now, he looked at me back then, and this must have been 6 or 7 years ago by now, and he said, Evan, I love your message. The problem is you're not a very good communicator. And that hurt at the beginning because I had already done some speaking gigs. I'd already been making videos for 3 or 4 years. You know, I'd had hundreds, if not 1,000 videos already under my belt, and here he is saying that I suck at communicating. And he said the people that he typically works with are people who are already in media, who have tons of experience, who are great in front of the camera. They need help refining their message. He said, for you, I love your message. You've got a great message. You just suck at being able to communicate it. I'm like, oh, wow. And so, okay, great. Well, where do we go from here? And he said, I'm gonna take a flyer on you. I don't normally do this. I'm gonna take a flyer on you and see where you go. And I didn't want to waste my opportunity. I didn't even know that you could get an agent as a business person, as an entrepreneur, as a speaker. I mean, I guess I heard of speaking houses, but an agent, I thought more entertainment or sports, not for business. So I didn't want to lose this opportunity. You know, I didn't want to regret not giving it my best. And so I said, okay, great. Tell me what I need to do. I'm the worst right now. Awesome. I don't have the skills that everybody else here has. How can I get better? What do I need to do? Tell me. And he said, okay, so your first challenge is I need you to make a bio video. I need you to tell your story, a foundation story video, make it 20 to 40 minutes long and record it, and I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna give you my feedback on it. Okay, great. So I recorded it the next day, and it was in the morning. I recorded it, sent it to him. He gave me feedback, and then at lunch I recorded it again. He gave me feedback, I recorded it again in the evening. And I did it 30 to 40 times. That's a lot.
over the course of however many days, 10 to 12 days, I guess. I recorded the video over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Every time he gave me feedback, I do it again. Feedback, do it again. And I got better. And over the course of a couple months, when I was making 3 videos a day, practicing, sucking, but just practicing and trying to get better and listening to feedback and trying to improve, I quickly became the best case at the agency. I quickly became the #1 person from views, from subscribers, from best practices. I copy what Evan's doing. Now I'm being brought on to help them with their clients and train some of them on how they can get better on YouTube and build their brand. From being the worst, from being the guy who almost didn't get in. Because the people who were joining them, one, maybe had bigger egos, but also were having a hard time finding the time to make a video a week. And if they're not making a video a week or having a hard time doing it, and I'm making 3 a day, even if I suck, I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna outpace just because I'm willing to work, just because I'm putting in the effort. You might not have the skills, you might not have the talent, you might not have the looks, you might not have what you think you need to have. How does an introvert build a huge audience and spread a huge message and be famous on YouTube? I don't know. I mean, I'm working on it. Join me on my journey. We'll figure it out together. That was my agent's concern when I first got started, and I'm breaking the mold and doing things in a way that haven't been done. And you can do the same thing through hard work. Hard work doesn't guarantee your success. There's a lot of people who work really hard and never win. A lot of people who work 12-hour days and are doing minimum wage jobs. They're working hard and they don't win. You have to work hard and you have to work smart, but it's not one or the other. The people who were in the agency were working smart, but we're making 1 video a week. I was working less smart, but making 3 videos a day. So I'm gonna get better, I'm gonna get smarter, I'm gonna make it faster, I'm gonna show you what I can do. Hard work is always your ticket in, and one of the biggest problems is people just aren't working either hard enough or smart enough. You just want it too soon, and you can be impatient and it's amazing, but better than being impatient with the results is being impatient with yourself. Most people are impatient with the results. Like, it's not coming fast enough. Like, where are my subscribers? Where are my views? It's not happening. My first video took me a year to get 3 comments. And the first comment was my mom, the second was my sister, and the third was some random dude, right? A year to get 3 comments, and 2 of the people were my family. You're impatient with the results. What you should be is impatient with yourself. When you're not getting results, when it's not happening, audit yourself. Are you putting in the work? Are you doing enough work? Are you working smart enough? Are you applying the right strategies? Get more frustrated with yourself and your effort more than that the results aren't there. Because if you woke up every day and did that equivalent of making 3 videos a day when other people are making 1 video a week, you will eventually win. It might be slower than you'd like, but it's always slower than you'd like, but you will eventually win because hard work is always your ticket in. You will never lose in life if you have valuable skills. You won't lose your house, you won't lose your car, you won't lose your clients if you have a skill that brings people value. The economy can collapse, the algorithms can change, but as long as you have a skill that solves problems for people, you will be safe. So I'm seeing this a lot in the YouTube world now. I have a new course out helping people get to 1 million subscribers on YouTube. We can link up the description there if you want in. And people are saying, well, should I still do YouTube? Is it too late? Like YouTube won't be here in 5 years or 10 years, or maybe it's gonna be the next thing I should hop on. It's not about the platform. Like right now, it's winning the platform that is currently winning. You need to crush it, right? Like YouTube should be your home. If you're trying to make an impact, you're trying to be a thought leader, you have a message to spread, YouTube has to be your #1 place. It just has to be right now. Otherwise, you're not making a smart decision. But whether YouTube is still around in 20 years, 5 years, doesn't matter. Because the skill set that you learn, you can take anywhere. The ability to communicate, you could take to any platform. You could take to the next thing. I don't anticipate YouTube still being around in 20 years, but my ability to make videos, talk into a lens, that's not gonna go away. That can serve me for life, right? Whether that's VR Evan or hologram Evan, coming into your living room, that's gonna be me. That's gonna be amazing. I'm pumped, I look forward to it. Any algorithm change that people are freaking out about, anybody who's complaining about the economy going down or the algorithm changing, you've already lost. That's a losing mindset. When I was first starting my YouTube channel, I always saw the algorithm as a chance to win, right? You should see, if you're a small creator on any platform, YouTube, Instagram, anything, and the algorithm shifts, That's your greatest advantage. You should be cheering. You should want more algorithm changes. If you look at a traditional, established, boring market, it's hard to win. Real estate could be hard to win, right? Financial markets can be hard to win. It's not that it's not possible, it's just hard to win because there's a lot of people who have decades of experience and know more than you, and it's hard to close that gap of experience. With social media, with YouTube, every time there's a big algorithm change, the people who are experts at the last thing, they're crying instead of adjusting. That's how you win. That's how you get ahead of them. That's how you become the top dog, is because you're gonna go learn the new algorithm when everybody is wishing and hoping that the old algorithm comes back. And this happens for every platform. It happened for Facebook. Every time they changed your algorithm or updated the feed and what was shown there, people always freak out and complain, and they want petitions and like, let's go back to how it used to be. Don't sign those petitions. Don't jump on that bandwagon. That is loser thinking. Never, ever, 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 ever do that. It's loser thinking, and that's how most people think. That's a mindset shift that I want to make for the collective, but more importantly for you. That whenever there's a big change, embrace it. Go all in on it. Learn it. That's how you're going to leapfrog everybody else. So the faster the rate of change, the more you should be cheering. I still get pumped for an algorithm change. Me. I mean, now I'm closer to the top, right? I mean, I don't know what the top is. I got 2 million subscribers and 300 million views and all these channels. I still love it. Anytime an algorithm change comes out, I'm still pumped. Train yourself. Like a change is coming, I'm pumped. Get excited. Because there's still people who are ahead of me, or even the people below me that I'm competing with for attention and for space. If they're sitting there complaining about how it's changed and they're dropping in their views, awesome. I'll pick up those views because I'm going to learn what the new algorithm is all about. Same thing with the economy. When the economy crashes, everybody who's complaining about how it used to be, they're not going to win. It's comforting to join a club and wish things to be how they used to be, but we're not going back to that. So the faster you realize that and make improvements, the faster you can learn and actually build a great business. Some of the greatest businesses in the world were built in recession, in depression. That could be you if you decide to be. Let's hop back to skills for a second. I look at Jake Paul, Logan Paul. They started on Vine, right? Vine was their claim to fame. They had tons of success in making these super short videos. Vine gets shut down, right? Boom, gone. This is don't put all your eggs in one basket. I think that's loser thinking too. It's loser thinking. They went all in on Vine, and then Vine got shut down. Oh no. What did they do? They moved to YouTube and started crushing it. Millions of subscribers. Look at their growth on YouTube over the past, 2 years, 3 years. Blew up. Why? They didn't just come out of nowhere. They had the skill set. They had the skill set that they learned from doing the thing, right? The skill set to make a good video, they then brought to a new platform. If YouTube goes away, you're learning the skill set of how to communicate, how to make great videos, that whatever comes next. People are freaking out about the FTC coming in and COPPA on YouTube. Okay, so if kids aren't able to get content on YouTube, where are they gonna go? Go be there. Instead of trying to fight what is already happening, go be at the place where the kids are gonna be. Embrace the change. That's where you can win. When everybody else is fighting and angry and screaming and yelling and complaining and wishing that it used to be, or quitting the platform and getting upset, go be where they're gonna be. It's easy. It's a simple win. Most people don't have that mindset. It's why most people lose. It's why most businesses can't evolve. Most businesses shut down. It's people very rarely transition from one platform to another, from one business to another, even though they have the skill sets and capabilities to do so, because they don't have the mindset to do so. People who crushed MySpace, very few of them are still around on different platforms. Look at Hollywood. The Rock is doing it. Will Smith is doing it, moving from Hollywood films to YouTube. Where's Brad Pitt? Where's George Clooney? Like, they're in a dying industry. They should be embracing YouTube. They don't want to. They have the skills. They have the skills. It's transferable. You don't think George Clooney could come in and crush YouTube if he wanted to? Of course he could. Calling you out, George Clooney. Let's go. Make it happen. Right? It's just about picking up the skill set. That will keep you safe in any environment. But it's also having a mindset to follow through and try the new things instead of complaining about the changes that are currently happening. The easiest way to win is to do work that you love. Making a new video is easy for me. I've done 6,000 plus videos. I still love them. I still enjoy it. But there is a chandelier sitting in the trunk of my car right now that I have no interest in installing. I have no idea how to install a light. I have no interest in learning how to install a light. And so I've asked my friend Mark Drager from Fanta to come and help install the light for me. If you're doing a business that you don't know and that you don't love and you think it's just gonna be easy money, newsflash, it's never just easy money. You are going to lose. You have to go through what I call the blinders test. Now, blinders are things that people put on horses. So there's those black patches that they put here on the side of the horse so that the horse doesn't get distracted. So the horse isn't like going all over like this. All they can see is what's in front of them, and it forces them to just focus and go in front of them. Now, side note, apparently they actually have this for humans too, and some tech companies are using them where they have blinders for humans. That seems a little crazy to me, but listen, if blinders help you focus, then by all means, go for it. But you need to pass the blinders test. So what is the blinders test? For me, there's moments in time where you have absolute clarity for what you need to do, where you know where you want to go, where you have direction and purpose, and this is the window that you need to jump through. For me right now, it's YouTube. Yes, I've been on the platform for over 10 years, but this is a special moment in time for YouTube right now, for Evan Carmichael plus YouTube right now. I'm hitting it on strides. We've got, I don't know how many channels right now, a lot, too many maybe, but I want to have 100 channels. This is a moment in time. YouTube's not going to be around forever, and it's going to morph and it's going to become something else, and I'm going to have different interests at some point. This is the moment of time that you need to then push hard. I see opportunities as windows. There's this window that's in front of you right now, and the window's open, but it's not going to be open forever. At some point, that window of opportunity is going to shut. And that's when people look back and say, I could have done it, and that other person, they made so much money off of my idea. It wasn't your idea, they did it. The only difference between you and the people who are winning is they started, they did it, they take action every single day. There's no reason why that person can't be you. You have to jump through the window with full force and put your blinders on and stop thinking about everything else that's around you. That's if you have absolute clarity and direction. Now, there'll be other moments in your life, and I think life moves like this. I think you'll have moments in life where you have absolute clarity and purpose and direction. And there'll be other moments where you're not so sure what to do. And then you have to open up the funnel again. Sticking to the blinders when you don't know what you're doing is not a great strategy. This happens to a lot of entrepreneurs where they have focus for their business, but then they lose interest in their business. And then they bought themselves a job, and they're too afraid to get out of that business because of what it means, because of the opportunity cost, because of everything that they've sunk into the business, because people might say, well, what a failure if they close now. And they should have been out of their business 3 years ago, but they're still going. Don't let that be you. You're never gonna win doing work that you hate. If you don't like your business anymore, you need to adjust it, or you need to move on, dump it, and move on to something else. If I stop liking videos, I will just decide no more videos happening. Sorry guys, maybe sell it to somebody else or just stop, because I'm not gonna win doing work that I hate either. And so if you feel your foot kind of pulling out of the water, while you still have some interest, move on to the next thing. And so when you know what you wanna do, you're focused, hyper-focused, that's all you're doing. When you don't know what you wanna do, you open up the scope. And that's okay. And I think everybody will go through these phases in life. You will have absolute clarity, and so you need to go off and do instead of finding all the reasons why you can't do. And when you don't know what you want to do, don't stress out and worry that you don't know what you want to do. Try a bunch of stuff. Say yes to everything. Pay attention to the feeling. The most important thing when you're trying something new is, do you love the process of it? Not, is this going to be your next big opportunity? Did you love the process? Even though you sucked doing it. I sucked making my first video. I love the process. I sucked when I first learned salsa dancing. I love the process. You're supposed to suck at the start. That's okay. You don't need to get instant results. If you love the process, you will win. If you got instant results, but you don't love it, you're never going to win. It's just never going to happen. You're not going to win. And so, depending where you are on this spectrum of absolute clarity to having no idea, dictates what your action should be. When you know what you need to do, stop making excuses, stop having justifications, and just go off and do the damn thing. And if you don't know what you want to do, then explore. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop complaining. It's okay. Explore. You will find the thing that then you can focus on until the next time you expand it. A good question to ask yourself is, do you actually love this? Do you want it badly enough? I love making videos. I sucked at the beginning. I'm still working to get better. I've gotten better over the decade I've been on YouTube. I still look forward to it. I still love it. I still work every week creating content for you guys. We're putting out 6 videos a day across the different channels now. It's wild. It's crazy. And I still love it. We're putting in the work. I'm putting in the work. My team's putting in the work because we still actually love the process of doing it. So many entrepreneurs quit and give up because you'll say you'll do whatever it takes, but you're not going to. If you don't actually love the process, you don't actually love the work, you will not do whatever it takes. You will only force yourself to do something that you hate for so long until you give up and quit. So a big reason why entrepreneurs don't put in enough work is because you just don't love it enough. When you understand what your single most important core value is, everything else becomes so much easier. So for me, it's believe, right? Believe is my single most important core value. How does that help? Well, with every decision that I make, it's seen through the lens of believe. Every video content that I make is about belief. It has to be. Every interaction I have, every workshop, every book, every meeting, all of it has to be run through the believe framework, right? The glasses of belief. If I'm hiring somebody onto my team, skills alone aren't enough. It's great that you can write copy. Do you believe in entrepreneurs? It's a big difference. So when you understand your core value, everything else becomes clearer and you're less likely to follow what other people want you to do. Everybody around you, they have a goal for you. Even if it's well-intentioned, they have opinions on what you should do with your life. Everybody around you, this is what you should do with your life. Everybody has an opinion. You don't know which way to go. If you don't know which way to go, it's because you don't know what you stand for, because you're standing on quicksand. But when you understand your one word, your who, your most important core value, it's like you're standing on a rock that nobody can push you from. So how do you figure that out quickly, right? I mean, this is 200 something pages. Let's boil it down super quick for you. You want to think about all the people that you love, your favorite teacher, what you loved about your parents. Think about your favorite musician, your favorite band, your favorite song, your favorite movie, your favorite book, all your favorite things. The thing that when you are around, consuming it, reading it, being with them, it makes you feel bold, alive, amazing, confident, unstoppable, right? We've all had those moments. It's just not consistent enough yet. We're gonna make it for you. It's just not consistent enough yet. And so write down a list of 5 to 10 things that make you come alive. Again, people, your favorite teacher, movies, all of those things that make you, that you love, like you could get lost spending time with them or reading them or listening to them. Then write down 3 keywords that describe each of them. So your favorite teacher, why did you love Mr. Jones? It's not because he taught you grade 4 math, right? There was something else about Mr. Jones that you love. Why do I love Seabiscuit, the movie? Because it's about an oversized jockey and an undersized horse and an owner that has no money and all of these things, and they all come together. It's believe, right? My parents taught me that I'm Evan Castrilli Carmichael and I can do anything that I believe that I can, right? And so through all the things that I love, believe is the common thread. What is it for you? You have to figure it out. You have to figure it out. It doesn't have to take you years of work. Just write down all of the people and the things that you love, 3 keywords for each. Like, do this. This is important. Just do it today. It'll make a huge difference in your life. It's worth it. This is the best 15 minutes you can spend in your life. Do it. Pause the video and do it. And then just see what comes up consistently. What word comes up over and over and over and over and over and over again? Chances are that's your one word. That's your who. Then when you discover it, you have to start living that life. The reason most people don't win isn't because you don't have great ideas. You're a genius. The only thing missing is momentum. You're dreaming huge. That's amazing. I love it. But there is 0 momentum. It's never going to be the right time and nobody is coming to save you. The time is now to make your dreams happen. So here's a really fun example. Yesterday, I needed to take a break from my work to go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom, open up my Feedly and start looking at, some of the news stories that were happening. And there was this amazing video that I saw about a busker in Toronto who a company organized what they called a cash mob instead of a flash mob, where they would all show up at this guy doing his guitar singing, playing, and just throw money at him. Not at him, but in the guitar case, right? And they probably made like $1,000. They were throwing 20s and 50s, not just pennies and dollar bills and stuff, but giving him tons of money. And he's starting to get overwhelmed. He's playing the guitar, he's getting overwhelmed, and I'm getting motivated and excited and just heartfelt. What a great moment. And I decide in that moment, we need to make this video more public. We need to spread it. This has to go up on the channel. I need to spread awareness. I want to promote this company who put this together. I love it. What a great idea. And so right away, like, here's the thing. You get a great idea. Trust your great ideas. Go do something about it. I could have easily filed that away. Next week I'll work on it. And then guess what's going to happen next week? I'm not going to work on it because I'm going to move on to something else, right? I'm in the middle of my day. I've got priorities and a plan for that day. And then this thing pops up. I trust that idea, trust that it's great, and that I gotta do something about it. Because if I'm inspired, if you're inspired, you're gonna create gold. You're gonna create magic. If you're not inspired, then just keep doing the work that you're doing. Hopefully it's not depressing and negative. It's just you're creating. It's amazing. You're in your flow. But when something new comes up that you're super excited about, I think you need to follow that through. And so I parked a little chunk of my day yesterday to then make that video. And I made the ending, and I made the thumbnail, and I made the description, and I made the title, and I created it all in one shot, and I sent it off to my editor, Christina. We love you, Christina. To say, hey, we got to put this up on the channel. Find a time. This is not scheduled in my usual content calendar, but let's find a time and put it up, right? And that maybe took, I don't know, half an hour. It took half an hour out of my day that I was supposed to do other stuff to make that happen. Because momentum matters. Momentum matters. It's the most important thing. You're a genius. The ideas that you have are gold. They're genius. You're just not doing enough with it. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. What I took away most from that definition is the word progressive. You want progress. You want to learn. You want to keep growing. What was once a challenge for you is now simple, and it's very easy to fall into a routine that once served you but is now limiting you. The day you stop progressing is the day that you start to hate your life, and it can be sneaky. It could sneak up on you without you even noticing what happened. So I was trying to think of a personal story to share with you about this, and I realized it's been more than 10 years since I've actually felt that. I felt that I've stopped progressing, that I started to hate what I was doing. It's been over 10 years. It was basically since I started on YouTube, and I'm going to share with you the hacks that I used so that you won't fall into that rut. But what happened for me 10 years ago was I built my website, right? I sold my business, I had success, I was speaking around the world. I started building my website, and I built it into a giant platform. We had 100,000 plus pages of content, making money from advertising, and I just stopped liking the business. It started to feel like we're putting out content, we're putting out articles, just trying to make money, putting out articles that I didn't always believe 100% in. We had a bunch of guest people writing content, right? We had 4,000 or 5,000 authors for the website, and not all of their opinions or views or mindset or voice reflected my own. And I just stopped liking the business. It was a successful business, making money, building a team. I had 8 people, I think, at that time. And I decided, you know what, I'm losing the love for this. I need to try new things. And I started making YouTube videos. It was one experiment. I probably did a bunch of different things, but YouTube was one experiment that I sucked at, but I loved, and I kept coming back to. And it taught me a lesson. It taught me that you need to explore. This is what I tell a lot of people when they're entrepreneurs. I had a woman, Melissa, who joined me on an IG Live the other day, and she's talking about how she's got a real estate business that's making her money, but she wants to be a speaker. And the speaking business is growing. It can't support her fully yet, but the real estate business gives her a lot of money. She's like, well, I like doing both. It's like, well, no, you don't. Right? Like in 5 years, where do you want to be? Do you want to still be doing real estate? No. 5 years, I don't want to be doing that. I want to be doing the speaking thing. Like, great. That's where you need to start spending more of your time. It doesn't mean quit the job. It doesn't mean stop doing real estate or stop doing the thing that you're just okay with. But while you still have one foot in it, you have to explore, you have to try, you have to taste, you got to see what else you can do. Spend 1 day a week, 2 days a week, depending on your financial situation. This is my advice to her. Spend 1 day or 2 days a week focusing on the speaking business so that in 6 months you could be out of the real estate business and be in speaking full time. And then doing the thing that you love, right? If you just like it, that should be a warning sign to get out. Not ASAP, but you need to start exploring. But so many people end up hating the thing that they're doing. So many entrepreneurs start a business, they love it, it's challenging, it's exciting, it's exhilarating, and then they found that they bought themselves a job and they actually hate their business. And then it becomes too late to get out because you can't find the person to sell it to, or you just have to walk away from it. But so many people just like it, and you're not exploring enough to chase down the opportunity. You don't win a Nobel Prize by telling yourself that you want to win a Nobel Prize. You win a Nobel Prize by having a mission so big that it forces you to become somebody new. A stronger, more bold, more resilient version of you. If you make success your goal, you will most likely miss it because you have the wrong outcome in mind. Make impact your goal. Make your mission your goal, and you'll end up having more success than you ever thought possible. I look at my YouTube channel as an example, and the next goal would be to have 10 million subscribers, right? I got my 100,000 plaque. I got 3 of them there. I got my million plaque. The next goal is 10 million. And there's nothing wrong with having goals, but the problem is if I made 10 million the thing, like all I'm doing is chasing down 10 million subscribers, It forces you to do short-term decisions that end up not serving you, right? If I wanted to just blow up my channel, the best way to do it isn't actually to spread positive content. Negativity spreads much faster than positivity. If I made a top 10 video on why this person sucked, or an express about how this person's an idiot, or people fighting, people can't help but see that. That's why people stop to see the car accident on the highway, right? We don't reward the good drivers. You want to see the chaos. You want to see what caused the flame. There's a fight on a street corner. You stop to see what's going on, right? We're attracted to the negativity more than the positivity. That's a faster way to blow up my channel. The problem is, I wouldn't feel good about it. I don't want to spread negativity. I don't want to spread conflict and chaos. I don't want to spread pessimism. I don't want to spread despair. I don't want to spread ego. I don't want to spread negativity. I don't want to do that. And so it would lead to me flaming out before I ever hit the goal. That's the problem. You can have this goal. This is what most people do. You have some goal. Here's my goal. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to that goal. The problem is you won't do whatever it takes because it's going to get too hard. You can only do things for so long that you don't love before you quit and give up. And so there's nothing wrong with having a goal, but more important than the goal is the mission. I want to solve the world's biggest problem. It's something that's never going to happen. Never. In my lifetime, it's never going to happen. I want people to believe in themselves more. It's never going to hit that ultimate goal where everybody is Michael Jordan at something. It will never happen. And I wake up every day trying to do that. And so if you make a goal tied to some outcome, like getting 10 million subscribers on YouTube, it's going to force you down a path that likely won't serve you. So you lead with the mission. You lead with the impact, and success will follow. The difference in people is their standards. The world is full of people who started with less than what you already have right now, and they're winning. And too many people are out there complaining. Complaining that you don't have the money, that you don't have the time, that you don't have the experience, that you don't have the personality for it. All legitimate, logical reasons. But others have done it with those very same circumstances as you, with worse circumstances than you. The difference is they have a higher standard for themselves. And today, we're gonna raise yours. One of the things I'm most proud about for myself, why do I love Evan Carmichael, is because when I say I'm gonna do something, I do it, especially when it gets hard. Like, it doesn't count until it gets hard. And I'm doing it not just for other people. I'm doing it not just because I promised you that I would show up. I'm doing it for myself because I said I was gonna do something and then I go off and do it. This is the foundation of self-esteem, of self-confidence, of self-love, doing it when you say you're gonna do it. And so on Monday, I usually have a 2-hour walking meeting with Alex. Alex helps me run Toronto Dance Salsa. He comes over, Monday's my mentoring day, and we'll usually go for a 2-hour walk around the city. And it's starting to get cold. You know, it's winter time here, it's getting cold. And so we bundle up and we go for our 2-hour walk while we talk and while we meet. I'm trying to do walking meetings more, just for my own health and just for the challenge of it, because it's easy to start something like that in the spring or in the summer. It's really hard to do it when it's in the winter and you live in Toronto, Canada, and it's snowing and cold, right? So this Monday, Alex was sick. He still came in, he was sick, he was running a bit of a fever, not crazy sick, but just sick. And Nina, my wife, super caring, said, hey, maybe you shouldn't go for a walk outside. And my heart's just like, come on. No, we have to. I said I was gonna do it, right? I have to, for myself, I have to go on the walk. Like, I'll go on the walk and leave Alex at my place and and just film the meeting with him. But we came up with a different solution, which was, I live in a condo, we have a gym in my condo, and we went down to the condo gym and I walked on the treadmill while he stood or sat next to me for 2 hours. Because I said that I was gonna do it. How important is that 1-2 hour walk? Not much. Right? In itself, not much. Am I gonna get healthy from doing that one walk? No. Am I gonna lose weight by doing that one walk? No. I'm gonna have so much more mental clarity by doing that one walk? Of course not. But it's the whole game, because you're teaching yourself that you follow through. You're teaching yourself that you have high standards. You're teaching yourself that when you say you're gonna do something, you follow through, because life is coming for you with a ton of roadblocks. Life is gonna throw tons of curveballs at you. If you can only do the thing that you said you were gonna do when it's easy and the path is perfectly clear, you're never gonna do it. This is why people don't stay consistent, because as soon as life gets hard, you let yourself off the hook. You allow your standards to drop, to say, oh, it's okay. Yeah, of course I can't go for a walk because Alex is sick, right? And there are definitely legitimate times when you should let yourself off the hook. If I was dying in bed with a fever and I couldn't get out of bed, I wouldn't go for the walk. That makes sense. Don't be stupid. There's times when you need to be gentle on yourself. But more often than not, we are too gentle on ourselves when we shouldn't be. I could have done the walk, and we did it. We did it in the gym downstairs, and Alex stood next to me and sat next to me and didn't have to go outside and get the cold on him, and I still got my walk in, right? And I feel great about it because I did it when it was hard, because here's this obstacle that life's throwing at me. Here's an easy way when everybody around me is saying, you don't have to go off and do it. And a little tiny voice inside my own head saying, okay, well, here's a chance. You don't have to do it. Like, no, be quiet, voice. I'm doing it. We're finding a solution. Let's go. And the solution is gonna walk on the treadmill downstairs. What matters is that you're productive, that you get results, that you stop wasting time. Too many people default to thinking that if they just wake up an hour earlier, they're gonna be way more productive. If you're not productive in a 16-hour day, what makes you think that you're gonna be more productive in a 17-hour day when you have less sleep? So this is a interesting message and timing for me right now, because I love beating the sun up. I love it. I love working. Like, it's my default state. If Nina is off on a Friday night with her friends or something, 80% chance I'm working. I love it. I look forward to it. When I go close my eyes, I can't wait for it to be the next day. Like, I'm pumped to go off and do the work. I recently did a sleep study, and my doctor was concerned I wasn't getting enough quality sleep. So I went to go do a sleep study, and the doctor, after going through the results, told me that I need to be sleeping 8.5 hours to 9 hours a night. And it like super disappointed me. 8.5 hours to 9 hours? Are you kidding me? I was trying to go from 8 to 7. I was waking up after 8 hours sleep and feeling still a little bit tired. And so that's why my doctor recommended even going to the sleep study. And I'm trying to figure out, how do I hack it to get down to 7 and still be fully functional, not be, lazy and slow and not having my cognition. And yeah, he said I need to be sleeping 8.5 to 9 hours a night. And he said, is that normal? Like, are you not worried? He's like, no, as long as you're under 10, it's normal. People range from 6 to 10 and they're totally fine. Like, this sucks. I mean, I'm not happy about it. I'm still looking at how can I hack my sleep more, and we've tried a lot. I have the chili pad. We've got, meditation before sleeping. I'm lying on the bed of nails with the thing behind me, the pillow, the nail pillow. No, phones or computers X amount of time before going to bed. Red light filters on everything. Red lights, no lights at all in the place, right? Like, just these real red lights glowing around after sunset. Lots of it. Cool down the temperature. I don't know, all of it. Don't eat past 8 o'clock. No caffeine past 2 o'clock. All of it. I'm doing all of that stuff. All of it, right? Plus probably a lot more stuff. I've studied and hacked away. I still believe there's a lot more hacking. I still want to get it from 9 to 7. But if I'm at 9 and I need 9, I think you should get 9. I'm at the point now where if I wake up and the sun is still not up, I stay in bed. And that's actually boosting of confidence. It's like, okay, so I wake up and sun hasn't come up yet. Okay, this is hard. This is difficult. It's difficult for me to not get out of bed. I'm gonna stay in bed just because. Now I'm a weird duck, so maybe this works for you, maybe it doesn't. But I was having a great conversation with Jeremy, who's on my team, who I've invested in his business. He's helping companies scale their YouTube channels, and he was going through the same thing where he was feeling a little tired in the afternoon. He wanted to nap on some afternoons, and that's never been me. So, dude, you just try waking up without an alarm. And normally he's up at 4:30 in the morning or something. So just wake up without an alarm and see how it goes. And he ended up sleeping for 9 hours and hating himself for doing it. It's like, dude, maybe you need 9 hours. Like, much more important than that extra hour or two is, what are you doing during the day? If you're losing energy during the day and you want to nap every afternoon, you're not being productive. Like, there's no way. Sleep and be productive. You need sleep to win. I think everybody should get a sleep test. I think it's a brutal experience. You barely sleep, right? When you're there, you got stuff up your nose and a million sensors all over you. But to know how much sleep you actually need, and making sure that you're productive during the time that you are awake. That's the most important thing. That you are productive during the time that you are awake is way more important than if you wake up before the sun gets up. If you are doing something new, you are going to get rejected. If you're doing something that you're not good at yet, you are going to get rejected. If you're doing something that goes against the status quo, you are going to get rejected. So you have two choices. Live a life with zero growth and never get rejected, or chase your dream, deal with the rejection that comes, and go change the world. I have rejection all the time in my life, from little rejections of making videos that don't pop to bigger rejections of projects that I care deeply about that just don't fly and people don't accept at the beginning. I look at this, Built to Serve. This is a great example. Built to Serve is my new book. This book I'm insanely proud of. I think it's life-changing. I mean, it should be. I think the work that you create should be life-changing, but I poured so much into this and I think people need to read it. Like, I desperately think that this book will change a lot of people's lives. It could change your life. I believe it's not just hyperbole. Like, I truly, fundamentally believe it. When I came up with the idea, I was on my tour earlier this year and I did not have time to write it, right? I was on my tour, I'm behind on everything, a million things being thrown at me, meeting people, doing my events, seeing the cities, and I just decided I have to write this book because of all the feedback I was getting from people. It was all the one-on-ones I was doing with people. The same questions kept coming up. How do I find my purpose? How do I know who I am? How do I turn into a business? And so that's the point of the book. Figuring out what your purpose is and how to use that to then serve the world, right? It's called Built to Serve. And make it into a business so you can make money doing it and build a team and go off and live your mission. When I first pitched my publisher on it, they didn't want it. They didn't want my book, right? So Your One Word is down here. That's with Penguin Random House, and Penguin passed. So they had my first deal with Penguin Random House. Typically how they'll do deals, especially with first-time authors, is you get a deal and then they have the right of first refusal on your next book. So as soon as I get my next book, they get the right to look at it first before I give it to anybody else, right? And so that's why I signed. So like, okay, here we go. Let's go. It's a perfect fit. I mean, it follows really nicely with Your One Word. Let's go, right? And they said, no, we're gonna pass. I'm like, yeah, what? How do you pass? This is better than Your One Word. I mean, I love Your One Word. It's great. But this is the whole thing. How do you pass on this? It's just. And we had to wait because it's 30 days and all these, anyway, legal stuff. So then we started looking at other companies. We started looking at other publishing houses. And there were other ones that seemed to line up really well with the content that they had, the author lineup that they had. And almost everybody except the last one, right, said no. And I mean, like, I got a big YouTube channel. We have momentum. We already have our first book. We're like, why? And all sorts of different reasons, you know, just not doing personal development books anymore, not whatever. Nobody came out and said like, we hate you, Evan. So maybe, hopefully that's not the reason. And then we found one that picked it up. It's like, okay, let's go. And if that one didn't pick it up, then we would have kept looking for more publishers, or I would have just made it myself. Just self-publish it, put it out, right? What do you do when the people around you don't accept what you have? When you want to take something in a new direction? I could have done something else. I could have done something easier. If I just did a book about Jack Ma, right, and his rules for success, that would be easier to pick up than this, which I talk about on the channel, but it's not the main thesis of the channel. But that's what I want to make, and that's what I'm going to make. And whether it's I get a publisher or we're going to, create it myself, it's going to be birthed into existence because I decided so. And just taking that mindset and approach, you have to. If you love the thing, if you're doing something different, then you have to keep going when people say that I don't want to pick it up, that it sucks, that it's stupid, that maybe it's even a great idea, but you're not the person who's going to do it, right? You have to keep going. I think judging yourself is actually great. I think you need it. I think it's healthy. I think people should be harder on themselves. The problem is people can't handle being even a little bit harder on themselves because they're already at the point of being depressed or even suicidal. The secret starts with self-love. Your self-love has to equal your self-criticism. You have to be your biggest fan as well as your biggest critic. The root problem isn't judging yourself, it's not loving yourself. One of the challenges I think of being human is we are social animals. We're social creatures. We rely on each other. We need each other. We want to belong. We want to be part of tribes. We want to do things together, right? We want to be around other people. So that makes us want to fit in. And that makes us play small, worry about what people think about us, because if we don't do the thing that they want us to do, they might judge us and kick us out of the tribe. The good news is there's so many different tribes you can do now, right? There's so many different people that it may not be your friends that you have right now. It may not be your parents or your family or your community right now. But whatever you want to do, there is a group of people who believe the same things you believe, who think the same way you think. And I think one of the healthiest things that you can do is whenever you feel the eyes of potential judgment, for something that you want to do, you have to go off and do it just to show yourself. Comparison to other people, I think, is actually a good thing. I think you need it. I think it helps you. I think it serves you. The problem is most people look at other people, start feeling insecure, and then kick themselves down. The key is to kick yourself forward, not down. But you need that kick. Otherwise, you stay where you are. This is one of the reasons why I love Modeling Success, why I created all my YouTube channels and all the content that I've done and have the people behind me on the wall, because I love looking at other people. I love learning from other people. I love seeing somebody do amazing things and say, that's what's possible. This is what's possible. I look at Les Brown as an example, and I think he's the greatest speaker of all time, at least that I've seen. Maybe the ancient Greeks were better, I don't know, but Les Brown, modern era, on video, I think is the greatest speaker. And I look at that and say, that's what's possible. Not that I can't do that. Here's what most people do. They look at Les Brown and say, well, I can't do that. And then they start feeling insecure, and I'm just an imposter trying to be like that now. And then they quit. And then they feel low self-esteem and they beat themselves up over it because they're not Les Brown. I look at Les Brown and say, that's what's possible. This is what humans can actually accomplish and achieve. I want some of that. I want to get better. I want to drive and improve, not to be the next Les Brown, but be the best me. But this is what's possible. I look at David Goggins. Man, David Goggins, look, he came out of nowhere. Who was David Goggins? Did you guys know David Goggins 5 years ago? No. He blew up out of nowhere because of the passion and intensity and truth of his message, right? I love that. And it's easy to say and look at that and say, well, look at how passionate David Goggins is and look how he blew up. I can never do that. I'm not as strong as him. I'm not as crazy as him. I don't have the same mindset as him, and so I can't do that. And you compare yourself to Goggins, and then you say, well, I can't, and so you don't start. That's the problem. You should look at Goggins and say, look at what's possible. You could come from nowhere, nobody knowing who you are, and in a short amount of time, blow up. Because you have a message that matters. You can look at how passionate he is about his message. Every video, he's got insane passion, right? This guy, he's not gonna give you nice hugs and compliments, but he cares about his message, right? You can see that. And you can take that as what's possible. You can care deeply about your message too and model David Goggins and apply that to make your message stronger and better. I think if you just were competing with yourself, I think you're actually gonna suck. I think if you're the best at something and you don't have any competition, I think you actually suck. Being the big fish in a small pond actually limits a lot of creativity, limits your ability to go off and crush things. I think it is. I think when you even in animals, when you see animals going up against each other in a race, when somebody's close, you work a little bit harder. Right? I think we need that in our ecosystem. The key though, again, is to make sure you're kicking yourself forward, to say this is what is possible. Not this person's so much better than me, I suck, feeling insecure, feeling depressed. You need the kick. Just make sure you're kicking yourself forward, not down. It may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility. It's not your fault that you were born broke, but it's your responsibility to fix it. It's not your fault that you had no education, but it's your responsibility to learn it. It's not your fault that you had no connections, but it's your responsibility to make them. It may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you're gonna win. So I recently posted to my YouTube community tab a quote about momentum. I think people don't have momentum, and I think the path to get momentum is to do work for free for ideal clients until you can prove your value and then they pay you. So here's what I wrote. I wrote, if you have no momentum, no traction, no clients, and start for free, prove your worth and build momentum. Give them something they can't wait to have again and pay for this time, #believe. And every time I write, there's always tons of great positive feedback. But this time, somebody wrote a kind of negative comment. And so I wanted to read it because it's highly applicable in this video. He said, Kitch, I don't know about some of your advice. Everything is my fault and work for free. To which I reply, yes, when you embrace those two, you'll start crushing your goals. It's a hard message to take on, right? Whether everything is your fault, everything is your responsibility, where you are right now, it's not about beating yourself up. It's not about saying, I suck and I can't get out. It's saying, listen, this is what happened to me. That's the past. The past doesn't have to equal to the future. Everything that I was born into and the circumstances that I grew up with, they don't have to be where I go going forward. Look at all your heroes. Look at the people who've made huge inroads, changed the world, the people that you look up to and aspire to be like. Very few of them were born super wealthy. Most of them had a worse upbringing than you did, and they could make it, so why can't you? You're just locked in your story. Too many people are locked into their story. They're not taking responsibility. They're not saying, this is my problem to get out of. I wasn't put here, right? You've been drafted into a war that you did not start. You were put here. And you have to survive. And then you have to learn to thrive. And it's that decision that you are in charge, that you're responsible, that if you go to the mirror and you say, why am I not achieving my goals? Why am I not further ahead? As long as you're blaming somebody else, that might keep you comfortable. Keeps you comfortable, it means you don't have to do anything, right? You're not winning because your mom, hit you. You're not winning because your dad never supported you, right? You're not winning because the school system sucks. As long as it's somebody else to blame, it's comforting. And everybody else around us are doing the same thing. Nobody's taking accountability. Everybody's saying it's somebody else's fault, right? Of course. It's not your fault that you're losing, because then you have to do something about it. And even if you're not losing, you're not hitting the goals as hard as you should. And it's so much easier to put the blame on somebody else and say, well, it's that person's fault. Where really, it's the person in the mirror. It's you. It's me. I am not further ahead in my business, on my YouTube channel, not because of the YouTube algorithm, not because my team didn't deliver the right video on time. Me. I'm the problem. It's my fault. It's my responsibility, right? I have to go fix it. I created this mess. It's not a mess, it's amazing, but I'm not at 10 million subscribers because of me. It's not that people don't want to watch the content and people don't want to be inspired. It's me. I need to get better. I need to improve. And even if it wasn't my fault, just taking that on gives you hope that you can change it. And as soon as you start putting, not even the blame. I think blame is not, I don't think blame helps. I don't care who to blame. I care how do we fix it, right? If there's a problem that happens in my business, it's not like who screwed up. I don't care who screwed up. I care what are we gonna do to make sure that we can get out of this hole and then it doesn't happen again the next time, right? Taking personal accountability for where you're at. If you have not hit your goals, there's good news, you can. But nobody's coming to save you. Nothing's gonna magically change around you. You're the change. You will make the change. You can go make it happen. If I want to grow my business bigger, I need to accept that I need to grow bigger. Me, personally, Evan Carmichael. It is my fault. It is my responsibility. I am to blame. And use that as a kick forward to say, great. Like at the beginning, that may suck. Say, oh man, I've wasted how many, weeks, months, years going down the wrong path, just casting blame on other people, realizing now it's my fault. Okay, well, what can you do about it? Now you can change it. Like at the start, the realization sucks, but then it's also the greatest thing of all time. If you're coming from under the rock and realize, oh my God, this is all my fault, that gives you the power to fix it. Because as long as you're relying on somebody else to do something and they don't show up, you can constantly blame them, but you're never growing, you're never accomplishing anything because you're waiting for them. You have to wait for anybody. It's just you. And you can fix it. You have the strength, you have the power, you're Michael Jordan, you have the abilities, you have the skill set, and if you don't have it yet, you can develop it, you can acquire it. Because your heroes did it, and you can too. The single greatest thing that you can do to improve the quality of your life is to take responsibility for it. No more blaming your parents, or the country, or the government, or your family, or your community, or your education. No more blaming other people. It's you. It's you. It may not be your fault where you are right now, but it is your responsibility alone to fix it. You didn't pick where you started, but you can choose where you end up. It's up to you. So I remember growing up, my parents were very hardcore in education. You see my parents behind me here. I'm 8 or 9 here, these are my parents. And we were a middle-class family. We weren't poor by any stretch, but we also, we're not rich. And my parents invested basically everything they had into our education. They put us all in the private schools, and taking 3 kids into private schools was a giant chunk of the income that they made. And so we didn't spend money on a lot of other stuff. I remember driving into my school, and all of the friends, all the other people at the school had all these fancy cars that when they turn 16, they're given a Mercedes or BMW from their family. And my family had a Reliant K car that kind of made a bunch of noises as it came into the school that was, I don't know however many years old, just because my family prioritized education. And we were playing in a league that was maybe above our means, but they valued that so much, and then we took a hit on other things. And I remember I used to get made fun of for the car, and I never went on the vacations that they went on, and I didn't have the fancy watches and all that other stuff. And there was one friend of mine who was kind of in a similar boat, where his parents, weren't making a lot of money, invested everything that they had into his education too. And so we quickly became friends as I guess the poor kids at the school. But it's funny now because I never blame my parents. I'm super grateful for the opportunities. I mean, why I have them up on my wall, that they invested so much and that they cared. And it's on me. Like, if my business doesn't work out, it's not their fault, right? Up until, you can potentially move out. I don't know what age you want to say, if it's 14, 15, 16, 18, but after a certain age, you're an adult and you have to take responsibility for your life. The only thing missing in your life is momentum. You're a genius. You've got great ideas. You are the Michael Jordan of something. The only thing that is stopping you is your ability to do difficult things and start building momentum. I think for so many people, it's not just doing the thing that scares you first thing in the morning, it's doing it at all. Most people just don't do it at all. You've got a great idea. You know it can work, but you're afraid of judgment. You don't know where to start. You're afraid of it being not perfect and people telling you that you suck and you failing publicly. You're afraid of all that stuff, and so you don't do anything. You got your foot on the gas and brake at the same time, knowing that you're capable of more, knowing that you have greatness in here, but then being too afraid to go off and execute it. And so I think not just starting your day with the thing that scares you, just moving, doing something, anything, just getting started on your crazy idea. It's not that you're leaving it to the afternoon, it's that most people aren't doing it at all. So I was on a call with an entrepreneur friend of mine yesterday, and she was upset, she was frustrated. She had decided mid last year, right? June, July last year, that she needed to let somebody go on her team. This person was being toxic in their environment, was still producing results for the company, but just being a big drag on the company, on the culture, and on herself as trying to lead this team of people. And so she decided, I gotta let this person go. It's 6-7 months later now, and she still hasn't done it. She still hasn't done it because she's afraid of maybe not finding the right person to replace, the impact of having to go through training and hiring all over again. And she just hasn't made the decision. The biggest problem is she has not decided. And so I said, when is this gonna matter to you? You decided, right, last year, 6, 7, 8 months ago, and you still haven't done the thing. And she said, well, if it gets to a year and I still haven't done it, then I have to go off and do it. And this is where your standards come into place. How long after you've made a decision do you actually start to do something about it? In her case, her standards were a year, in that she decided, but then a year later, that's when it's too much. That's when it's gone too far. That if she hasn't done it in a year, now it's too much. I want you to shorten that gap. Teach yourself that as soon as you decide, you do something, you act, you put the plan into motion, because you don't have that many years left. I look at her, she's not old yet, she's not midlife yet, but you don't have that many years left. And this isn't even that big a decision. Whatever is in front of you is not actually that big a decision. There are much bigger decisions ahead. It may feel like a big decision. It may feel like it. But after you've done it and you get through it, you realize, I could do that again. And there's another bigger decision ahead. You need to shorten the gap between deciding that you want to do something and actually taking action towards it. Who you spend time with is who you become. It's why I created this channel, so you and I can hang out with people like Warren Buffett. You may never meet Warren Buffett, but you can learn from him, you can be inspired by him, and you can change your life for the better by consuming this kind of content. I love modeling success because I learned from Bill Gates. Bill Gates was the first guy that I modeled success from. I had a software company, was struggling, was making no money. I told my partner I quit. And then I asked myself, somebody has done this before. I can't be the first person to try to build a software company. It can't be this hard. Please, somebody's figured this out. And the only person who came to my mind was Bill Gates, who started Microsoft. I hadn't been really that interested in reading. I hadn't been that interested in studying success. I was just trying to come up with ideas myself. And I was desperate, right? I told my partner I quit. I was desperate. I was at rock bottom. And so I said, somebody's figured this out. I can only think of Bill Gates and Microsoft. And so I studied his company and how he started, the 0 to 1, right? How did he make his first million? What did he do? And it was through partnerships. And I applied that strategy to my business. And shortly after, I had my first deal for $13,500. And I felt like I won the lottery. And after that, I had a pattern to use over and over and over again. And since then, it's been 20 years now of sharing that with you guys. It's been, for me, constant learning. It's the name of my channel, Modeling Success. It's why I have all these people behind me on the wall. It's why I make these videos every day. It's why I love learning from people like Warren Buffett and Steve Jobs and Kanye and Oprah and all these people, because they can shift you, because they shifted me. And the thing that they give you, at least for me, they give me one, the inspiration, the motivation, the idea that look at what they started with. If they could start from there and end up at this new place, why can't I? You already have more resources than Bill Gates did when he started. You have more resources than Kanye did, than Steve Jobs did when they started. You're in a better position than they were. And they went off to create amazing things. Go study Oprah's story and tell me that you're in a worse position than Oprah was when she started. You're not. You're not. And so it's inspiration. The other part is tactics, ideas, specific strategies, right? Bill Gates doing partnerships, through distributorships, all of these things, learning from that and saying, hey, I can apply that to my business. Maybe not 100%, but it gets you 80% of the way. And instead of you figuring out the entire solution, you just have to figure out how to bridge that 20% gap at the end. It's much easier. It can lead to your success. There is no longer any acceptable reason why you can't get the mentors that you're after and start winning. The opportunities that are in front of you right now did not exist for your parents, and it's only getting easier. But you still have to do your part. You still have to reach out. You still have to want it. It's actually less about winning the lottery and where you came from, and much more about how badly do you want it and how much are you gonna put in to get after it. Because if you are willing to put in the work, you can beat out somebody with 1,000 times more resources than you. So every night I go on Twitch and I stream my League of Legends games, twitch.tv/Believe Team here. And there was a guy who joined me last night from the Philippines. So he's from the Philippines, and he says that his goal is to be a professional League of Legends player. And the challenge is there's not a big League of Legends scene in the Philippines. There's no professional teams. There's only one player right now named Smithy, who's a jungler. Where did he go? He was jungler for Team Liquid. He signed with a new team. It escapes me right now. There's one person who was born in the Philippines who's a pro player right now and makes his living as a professional League of Legends player. This guy joins my live stream last night, and he says he's a support player from the Philippines, and that's his ambition. He's gonna grind it out. He wants to get noticed. He wants to get picked up. He wants to be a professional League of Legends player. The crazy thing is, that's actually possible. It's actually possible for him to do it. It's actually possible for him to get training, for him to get mentorship, for him to reach out, for him to get in contact with people. Here he is, he's in the Philippines, I'm in Canada, and we're talking, and we're connecting on my live stream. It's actually possible. It wasn't possible even 10 years ago. Definitely not for his parents. You look at what his parents are doing, where they came from, you could have some dream, but at that time, the dream was probably just to come to North America, or just to have this one little thing that existed in the world currently, right? This limited mindset, because there were limited opportunities. But right now, the opportunities are insane. You have a thing called the internet. People didn't have it before. The opportunities are insane. You are competing against the world, which is bad for a lot of North Americans, but it's amazing for everybody who's outside, or amazing for anybody who's willing to work hard. It's not even bad for North Americans. It's bad for anybody who's lazy, who's slow, who's maybe had things handed to them. There's a lot of people in North America who had nothing handed to them, but they're willing to work hard. If you are willing to work hard, if you are willing to show yourself, it's never been easier to win. Justin Bieber got discovered on YouTube. You don't need to have a manager anymore. You don't have to go through the system. You don't want to, I got a publisher for my deal, but you don't want to have a publisher? Publishers reject you? Great, go off and self-publish. David Goggins did. Lots of people created #1 bestsellers just from self-publishing. You can bet on yourself if you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to put in the effort. It's never been easier to win. And so I look at this guy from the Philippines, it might be easier for me, right? Me sitting here in Canada, if my goal was to be a professional League of Legends player, sure, it might be easier for me. Sure, I might have more resources. Sure, I could afford coaching and go to tournaments and meet people. But it's also never been easier for him, because in the past, it would have been only available to me. Now, it's available to anybody. And if he has the heart and the hustle and the drive and the intention and the will to go off and do it every day, he can crush someone like me, even if I have 1,000 times more resources than him. And you can too. You are where you are in life and business because of your standards. It's just not important enough for you yet to hit that next level. For you, for me, for all of us, we've settled. We've settled for what currently is and haven't demanded from ourselves that we reach that next level. Change your standards change your life. So I was recently talking to Alex on my team, and he helps me run Toronto Dance Salsa, the largest dance school for salsa in North America probably. And he recently went through this weight loss challenge, and he lost, I don't know, I want to say 30 pounds. And now he's sticking to this really thin line of between 150 and 155 pounds. That's his goal, that's his standard. When he's getting close to 155, he slows down on the eating, and when he's around 150, he has a little bit more, and he's constantly staying in this band because he set a new standard for himself. Even though he might have been 180 or 185 before, now anywhere close to 155 is gonna be too much. Like, that's it, that's my new standard, that's the lowest I'm gonna go, which is crazy high compared to what he was before. He's now trying to bring that same standard to his business. So what he's trying to do every day now is, if you follow him on Instagram, is he's posting at the end of the day how proud he is of the effort he put in. How proud is he of the effort that he put in out of 10? And sometimes you see it's 5.5, sometimes you see it's a 7, and every now and then it's an 8 or even a 9. How proud he is of the effort that he put in. This is now the area where he needs to raise his standards. And I was talking to him yesterday, and a big breakthrough that happened was, said, Alex, you've lost 30 pounds, man, or more from your weight loss journey. Now, the idea of being over 155 is crazy when you used to be 180, right? Or 185, it's crazy. You need to take that same approach to your business, to your effort, that you're proud of yourself every day for what you're doing. Anything under 8 should be considered a cheat day. Anything under 8 is like you had a cheat day on your diet. Every now and then on his weight loss journey, he had a cheat day. He had a moment of weakness. He went for a giant pizza and a cake because he was starving and he couldn't control himself. But it was these one-off moments, right? It was like once every 3 weeks or something, and he continued down. That now needs to be your daily effort. If it's under 8, that's like you're eating cake and pizza. 8 needs to be the new waterline, that if you're getting close to it, it's like, holy cow, I need to work harder. I need to accomplish. I need to go off and do. Just like 155 now is that benchmark for himself. And putting into those terms made sense for him because he had higher standards now for himself in what he ate, in how he took care of his body, than he did for what he was doing into his business. And so it's the same thing for you. You want to grow, you want to get better, you want to improve, you have to raise your standards. You have to now not settle for where you're at, because where you're at's good. This is the problem. Good is the enemy of great, right? Where you're at's good, it's good. It's not amazing, but it doesn't suck, because if it sucked, if you hated it every day, you would have to find a way out. But because it's good, you don't do it. You don't change. It's not important enough for you to want to get to that next step. Most people grew up with an unhealthy view of money. Some people think that money is everything, that the next person you see, the next customer you talk to, that's your next suit, that's your next car. And other people think that money is the root of all, right? Or the love of money is the root of all evil, right? To make money, you're evil, you're slimy, you're gross, you're ripping people off. Most people grow up in one of those two camps. That's the lesson that's been taught you by your parents. The truth is, money is just a tool. Money is an amazing tool that lets you accomplish amazing things. And if you are an entrepreneur and want to have success, making money has to be in your top 5 list of priorities. If it is not in your top 5, then you're not making money. But it can't be number 1. Money can't be your number 1 priority. There has to be something that is more important than it, and that's your purpose. I don't really usually talk a lot about money on my videos. Maybe I should. Maybe I should talk more about it. I think it's important. I think there's just so much out there that seems to be money, 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 that I'm trying to go against it to say, like, purpose is number 1. You're built to serve. If you're just chasing money, you're never gonna win. I think I see too many entrepreneurs just chasing money, and so a lot of the content that I make is more purpose driven, but there's still, I think, a lot of people who are purpose driven, who've started a business for the right reasons, and they don't know how to make money. And so maybe I need to switch up some of the content that I make as well to help change the perspective around money. My personal view is I hate spending money until I'm making money. I love making money. It's not number 1, right? Serving, believing entrepreneurs is number 1. But again, it's in the top 5, because if I didn't make money, I wouldn't have a team. I wouldn't have people to help me make this video. It'd be me by myself trying to put together one piece of content, a week or maybe a day, just, filming by myself. But instead I have this team of people who I'm super appreciative of, and I can afford that because I'm making money doing the business that I'm doing. Doing what you are afraid of is your path to success. Every time you take on something new that scares you, that pushes your comfort zone, that requires you to stretch, On the other side of that scary thing is the new you who is now capable of more. Most people, they shrink from scary things because they're scary. But if you want to win, if you want to hit your ambitious goals, then you have to teach yourself that you do scary things. So I recently came back from 2 pretty significant speaking gigs in my career as I'm building up and speaking on bigger stages. The first was when I was speaking at Brendan Burchard's event, and it's his growth.com event. And Brendan, one of the greatest speakers in the world, invited me to come and talk to his group of a couple thousand people. And then I went to Ed Milet's event just recently in Whistler. And this is a smaller group, 100 so people, but they pay $60,000 a year to be a part of his program. And so they're coming to learn from the best. He sandwiched me between David Goggins and Peyton Manning. So it's David Goggins, and then me, and then Peyton Manning. That was the lineup. And so when I was backstage at the Brendan event, I remember moments before going on stage, I was the most scared that I'd been in a long time. The most nervous, the most anxious. I was afraid of disappointing people. My biggest fear is letting people down. My biggest fear is that I'm gonna let Brendan down and Dean Graziosi, who they both brought me there. And I was just gonna suck on stage. That was my biggest fear. And so I had a mini panic attack backstage. 5 minutes before going up, I have this mini panic attack, and I'm forgetting what I'm gonna say. I imagine myself going on stage and just blanking out. And I tell myself, I'm Evan Carmichael. I do difficult things. I love difficult things. If I don't do difficult things, I'm never gonna accomplish great things. So I have to do difficult things. I love it. I thrive on difficult things. And then I remembered what I was gonna say. And then I went out and I did my thing. And now when I went to Ed's event, I wasn't as nervous. I wasn't as afraid. I was still scared. I was still afraid of letting down Ed Milet, letting down Andy Frisella, who they both brought me there, being between David Goggins and Peyton Manning and just being outshone. Everybody knows them. They may not know me. All of it, all of the fears and doubts, but less than what I had at Brendan's event. Not because it wasn't as big a deal, but because I had just done it. Because speaking on stage to a couple thousand people at Brendan's event and having that panic attack and getting through it changed who I was, made me stronger, made me more capable of doing the next thing. And the next thing was Ed's thing. And so if I hadn't gone to Brendan's, I would be terrified going to Ed's thing. So every time you take on these difficult challenges, you might have the panic attack. You might have the anxiety inside you. You might have that little voice to say, you can't do it. What if you fail? What if you disappoint people? What if you lose respect? What if it doesn't work out? But you know what's worse? You know what's worse than going up and failing? Not trying. Not doing it. Finding some reason, finding some excuse to say you're sick, you're busy, you can't make it. But in the back of your head, you know you were just afraid. And the last thing you want to do is teach yourself that when you are afraid, that when you have an opportunity in front of you and you're afraid to do it, that you say no. You don't want to teach yourself that. You teach yourself the opposite. That when you're afraid, that when there's something in front of you that you want to do, but you're scared, you're anxious, you're worried about letting people down, that you jump in and you say, I'm all in because I do scary things. Most people suck at creating work-life balance or harmony because you're constantly comparing what you're doing to other people's schedules. Of all the things that you need to figure out in life, what balance means to you is among the most important. Jeff Bezos jokes about optimizing his toothbrushing routine because he's trying to maximize his efficiency, while Warren Buffett reads for 5 to 6 hours every day. You can't do both, and you need to stop comparing yourself to someone who you're not. It's crazy how much balance and scheduling comes up. I think most people are lost. I think again, the biggest problem is you're just comparing yourself to other people, and then you don't know where to stand. You don't know what rock to stand on, and so you feel like you're pulled in 1,000 different directions. When I went on my tour this year, and I'm sure it's gonna come up on the next one again, people kept asking that, what does balance mean to you? How do I find balance in my life? And I used to joke, one of the funniest jokes that I told, and I'm not that funny, so this is one of the funny moments, was when I was talking about The Rock. And The Rock has his routine where he's working out for 4 hours a day. He has to work out for 4 hours a day. And so when he's doing his movies, he wakes up 5 hours before he has to be on set, and he'll work out for his 4 hours, and he'll do 2 times cardio and 2 times weights, and then go to his trailer, shower, and then head out to the movies. And he's only sleeping 4 to 5 hours a night when he's on set. I think that's crazy, but I don't look like The Rock. And that's when people would laugh, because I don't look like The Rock. But it's true. People will try to take on The Rock's schedule, but you have other priorities. What The Rock values isn't the same thing as you value. There may be some overlap and some similarities, and there's nothing wrong with trying on the hat. There's nothing wrong with attempting to do it. There's nothing wrong with seeing how it fits, right? To get pieces, to say, hey, I'm gonna try meditating, I'm gonna try working out, I'm gonna try making a video, I'm gonna try morning pages, awesome, great, yes. But then to judge yourself to say, well, I'm not able to stay consistent on that, it's not what you should be doing. Because you want to work out 4 hours a day, and you want to read 5 hours a day like Warren Buffett, and you want to optimize your toothbrush routine like Jeff Bezos, and you want to do all these different things, but it's too many hours in a day. What you have to figure out is, how does balance look like for you? And then not be ashamed to go off and live it when everybody else thinks you're nuts. Most people never hit their goals because they don't structure their life towards actually accomplishing those goals. You can say that you want something. You can say that this is your ambition and your goal, but unless it's in your calendar, unless you start actually working towards it, you're never going to accomplish it. Dreams stay dreams because there is no momentum. Let's talk about how to get it. One of the common questions I get asked when I'm doing my live stream, when I'm doing my interviews, when I'm doing my tour, my stops, people almost always will ask me, how many hours sleep do you get? When you go to bed, when you get up, how much do you sleep every night? Right now, I'm sleeping 9 hours a day. I sleep 9 hours. I did a sleep study. I was sleeping around 8 and was still tired when I woke up. And so I went and did an overnight sleep study, and they told me, I'm looking for the hack. I'm like, hey, you're deficient in magnesium, so just take these and you can sleep 7 and be normal. He said, no, nothing wrong with you. You just need to sleep 9 hours a night. That's healthy for you. It's like, what? That's healthy? Are you kidding me? What are you talking about? Nobody sleeps 9 hours a night. It's like, yeah, between 6 and 10 is actually, that's the normal range. The whole 8 hours a night is a myth. So I felt bad, and I'm still trying to hack it. So I sleep 9 hours a night. I don't wake up to an alarm. And people assume that I'm only sleeping 3, 4, or 5 hours a night because of how productive I am during the day. This is it, right? You could sleep 12 hours a night and crush it in the other 12 hours. Most people default to thinking they need to wake up an hour early. Say, well, if I wake up at 5 a.m. or at 4 a.m., I'm going to be more productive. If you are not productive for 16 hours a day, then adding an extra hour to that's not going to make you that much more productive. The problem isn't what time you wake up. The problem is what you're doing with the hours that you're awake. And so as much as possible, what I try to do is make every second intentional. I'm not always able to achieve that, especially not every second, but I try to make everything intentional. I try to make where I'm spending time is intentional. I'm in the present. I'm not thinking about something else. I'm here with you guys making this video right now. All I think about is this video that I'm making for you right now. Where is Nina right now? I don't know. Where's my cell phone? Well, it's right here because I can see it. But where are my keys? I don't know. Where are my dogs? I don't know. What am I doing after this? I have no idea. I'm focused and I'm with you right now. Most people live in the past. Most people are thinking about what could have been. Most people are regretting the decisions that they made, and they're procrastinating because they're afraid of doing things, because they don't want to do things. All things that prevent you from actually doing. That's the biggest problem. You're a genius. You're the best in the world at something. You can go off and make amazing things. The problem is your time is not being used efficiently. It's not being used effectively either. You haven't structured your life to help you accomplish your goals. Look at your big goals. Look at your big goals. Like, what's the next big goal that you have for yourself? You may not have one. If you don't have one, then you got to figure out what your purpose is, because that's the greatest thing of all time, right? Get the book, Built to Serve. You'll figure it out. You'll be ignited. But your next big goal, now look at your calendar. Are you aligning what's in your calendar, your daily habits, towards you accomplishing your goals? And for most people, it's no. Or you have it listed, but you're not doing it because you look at it and you get afraid and you procrastinate on it. So trying to cut that down to almost zero. Even before making these videos, before making expressive videos, I have a couple minutes of procrastination. I go and make sure I get my water. I go and maybe have a keto bar, just pacing around a little bit because I'm nervous about making the videos because I want them to be the best videos that I've ever made. It's always my intention. But too many people live in hours or days or months of procrastination instead of doing it. You get the results by doing it. It's the only way. You will never get the results by just thinking about it. You can be motivated, amazing, you can have the mindset, awesome. That's half the equation. The other half is doing. You have to actually just go out there and do. You need to structure your life to allow you to accomplish your goals. The biggest mistake so many entrepreneurs make is they jump into a business because they see that it's a hot opportunity. You don't love it, you don't know much about it, but so many people are talking about it and it looks like an easy way to make a lot of money. Big mistake. Don't do that. It's the fastest way to go broke. So Warren Buffett did not invest in Amazon, but he's still done pretty well for himself. He didn't invest in Amazon because he doesn't like tech, he doesn't know it, he doesn't love it, he doesn't live in that space, and so he doesn't want to buy those kinds of companies. And great, he missed out on Amazon, but he also missed out on all the tech companies that didn't make it, that he could have put money into that just would have gone to zero. He knows what he's great at, he knows what he loves, and he sticks in his arena. I look at what I'm doing. There's so many opportunities that come my way that I know nothing about, I have no interest in, and don't want to have interest in, that I'm losing money on, right? I don't like real estate. I hate real estate. I don't want to be in it. I don't want to learn about it. I don't like real estate. It's not that it's not a good opportunity. It's just not for me. It's boring to me. I have zero interest in real estate. It's great for so many people. So many people have built amazing wealth and generational wealth based off of real estate. Amazing. I'm pumped for you. It's just not the thing that I want to be in. Cryptocurrency, right? People, when Bitcoin was taking off, everybody was a cryptocurrency expert. I know nothing about cryptocurrency. I've bought zero cryptocurrency in my life. I've been given zero cryptocurrency in my life. Is cryptocurrency the future? Yep. When is it gonna come? I don't know. Is it gonna be Bitcoin? I don't know. I don't know anything about cryptocurrency. I get the mechanics and the general theory and I know that it's coming, but it's not the opportunity for me. CBD is a big thing now, right? Everybody's getting into CBD and CBD oils and CBD products, and great. And it's becoming legal here in Canada, or it already is legal in a bunch of our provinces, and it's going to be legalized across many states, if not the whole country. Awesome. It's not me. I'm not into CBD. I don't smoke any marijuana. I never have. I'm not interested in it. It may help you, it may alleviate your pain, amazing. This may be the greatest gift you've ever seen in your life, amazing. But if you're only jumping into it because you think it's a hot opportunity, you're gonna lose. That being said, I'm also involved in so many things that are hot opportunities. I'm drowning in opportunities. I have too many opportunities that I know what to do with, let alone don't know what to do with. Looking at YouTube. YouTube right now is still a massive opportunity. There's so many people who look at what I've done, who look at what Gary have done and Grant Cardone and those guys have done and say, I wanna do it. YouTube is blowing up, it's popping, it's exploding. If you're a thought leader, if you wanna have educational content, YouTube is still a huge opportunity. Most people who are the experts at what they do are not on YouTube. That means you can go on, even with a little bit less expertise, and go and crush it, because the people who are the best in the world at doing it, they're not doing it. It's a huge opportunity. It's a big white space still right now. Even though I've been on it for 10 years, YouTube has evolved a lot over the past decade, and there's still tons of white space open and available. I need to push that opportunity harder. I look at thought leadership as another one. Thought leadership, the stuff that I'm doing, the videos like this, the teaching that I've done, the workshops that I've done. People want to be a thought leader, not just an influencer, but a thought leader. And I'm at the center of that trend. I'm helping train a lot of thought leaders. People are coming to me asking me for help in becoming a thought leader, in making content, in being able to do good videos, and be able to get speaking gigs, book deals, all of it. People want it. It's happening. And I'm at the center of that trend too. League of Legends. I love League of Legends. I've been playing League of Legends for, this is 6 years. This is my 6th year playing League of Legends. I played Teemo. Look, I got Teemo here. I got Teemo here. I got Tristana here. I've named my dogs Teemo and Tristana, right? I play 3 games a night on my Twitch stream. You can come to my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/BelieveTeam. Come join me. I play there 3 games a night. I'm trying to get the gold this season, which means I'm in the top 10% of players in North America. So it's my ambition for the year. I watch League of Legends every weekend. I have a TSM jersey. Let me get it. I have a TSM jersey. I'm a fan. I love League of Legends. I love esports. If you're getting into esports, just because it's a hot opportunity and you don't love it, you're gonna die, you're gonna lose. I look at Gary Vee as an example, and Gary's done an amazing job in hip hop. An amazing job in hip hop, and he's brought so many different artists on, from the top of Nipsey Hussle all the way down to people who are just breaking in and trying to get their start. He loves hip hop, he loves the lyrics, he loves the culture, and so he's really built a name for himself inside of hip hop. He got into Twitch a little bit. He had a Twitch studio set up in his office, and he started doing a little bit of gaming, but he's not a gamer. He hasn't done gaming in decades. And so it's not authentic for him, and so he's not gonna win there. I love esports. I love League of Legends. I love gaming. It's part of what I do. I can talk to you about the current roster for TSM and my thoughts on it. I can talk to you about the new patch that came out on League of Legends and how Teemo's doing. I like it. It's just, I genuinely like it. And so I have these opportunities in front of me already within YouTube, within thought leadership, within esports that I can take advantage of and blow up in. And I don't need to worry about real estate and cryptocurrency and CBD and all the other millions of opportunities out there. There's already tons of opportunities inside the things that you already know and love. The things that you know and love, there's lots of people who know and love that thing too. And they're looking for guidance, they're looking for help. They need answers. You could be the person who gives them the answers. Jumping on some train because you think it's a hot opportunity and a chance to make money is the fastest way that you will lose money because you don't understand anything about that. If you don't love esports, don't go spend money on an esports team. You're gonna lose. You don't even know what you're doing. Inside the things that you love and know is a tremendous opportunity, and that's what you need to focus on.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. When you watch something and get motivated and just get inspired, you have a 35% chance of actually following through. But when you get motivated and then you actually create an action plan for what you're gonna do, you increase it from 35% to 91% chance of you actually following through. And when you share your plan publicly, that jumps to 95% chance of following through. So I want that for you. I want to know your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Put it down in the comments below so I can celebrate you.
If you want to go brick by brick to make it stick, you have to pay attention to two critical pieces. The first is mindset. The second is action. You need both or you're going to give up on your goals. You know you're capable of something bigger, but you'll give up because you don't have these two simple things settled out. I'm gonna show you how to fix them in this video. Step number one is mindset. What you think you're capable of is what you're actually capable of. If you think you can go off and do it, you're much more likely to do it. But if in your head, no matter how many skills and resources and people are telling you you're great, if in your head you don't believe you can do it, guess what's gonna happen? You're not gonna do it. And so you can apply brick by brick in a methodology that I call big why, little why. Your big why is the big reason why you're doing this thing. Why are you doing this thing? Your purpose comes from your pain. You got a big goal, big ambition. You want to change the world. You have a huge impact, right? You want to solve giant problems and change people's lives, right? That's your big why. You want to put a dent in the universe, right? You want to make an impact that's beyond your lifetime. It's a huge why. I'm waking up trying to solve the world's biggest problem. I don't think people believe in themselves enough. I'm trying to solve the world's biggest problem. I think that's the world's biggest problem. I'm never going to solve it. Even if I touch 1 billion people, I'm never gonna solve it. That's the best. I think you should wake up and have a big why so big that you're never going to accomplish it. You're gonna climb forever, you're gonna be on your journey forever. Forever, forever. It's the best. And oftentimes that big mission, that big vision you have is so motivating for you that it gets you out of bed, gets you motivated, like let's go, here's what I'm trying to do, and it gets you pumped up. But sometimes the big picture is too big. Sometimes your big why, right, is big why, little why. Sometimes the big why is so big that you feel you can't do it, that you're not capable, that you don't have the skill sets, that you'll never be capable. And so you throw in the towel because it seems too big. And I get that too. You know, I'll look at me and my goals of solving the world's biggest problem and say, who am I to solve the world's biggest problem? Right? How am I capable of going off and doing that? And especially in I'm trying to think the last time I actually thought about that, especially in my earlier years as an entrepreneur, I really struggled with that. I'd go do a speaking gig and be so fired up and so motivated, like, man, I know I'm crushing it. I'm helping people so much. This is amazing. This is oxygen. This is what I'm breathing. This is amazing. Thank you so much. And then I wake up the next day and be back to normal. I'm like, oh, can I do this? I don't know if I can do this because there's lack of momentum. And so that's where the little whys come in. And the little why is the reminder that what you do is important. I think it's so important that you feel that the work that you do is important. If you woke up and felt every day that the work you do matters, means something, is having an impact, man, the commitment level you're gonna have is so much greater than if you feel like nobody cares. What's the big deal? Meh. right? So how do you remind yourself that the work you do on a daily basis is important to at least one person? That's the little why. The big why is the big vision, big dream, big mission, like where you're going. Awesome. The little why is you may not be able to help a billion people, but you can help one. Just reminding yourself that you helped one person. How I get that now is in my YouTube comments. Even now, as part of my morning routine, I go to my YouTube comments and I just see what people are saying. And these are people, they're you know, amazing people who many of whom I've never met and maybe never will meet. Hopefully I'll meet you. Come on my tour. Meet me on tour. Probably I won't meet most of you. And to see the warmth and the love and the comments that you guys are leaving makes me feel like this is why I do it. This is why it matters. This work matters. If I stopped doing this, it would mean something to people and you'd have to go somewhere else. Now, not so full of myself that you couldn't find another solution, but the work that I do matters. And your comments feed me every day. I'm spoiled now that we get hundreds of comments and tons of DMs and lots of messages that come in daily. But when I was first getting started, I didn't get that many. When I talked about my early days as a speaker, I would speak and have a great time and then the next day wake up and feel like, what's the point? I would save. The thing that made the difference was I would save the messages that people sent me or emailed me or said at the end of one of my workshops. And I would put them together in a PowerPoint file. And I would watch that PowerPoint file every morning. That became part of my morning routine. This is when I really first started doing morning routines. This was such an important piece for me, was showing the messages from these people as a reminder every day that what I do makes a difference. And maybe I will never hit my billion, but these 18 people that I helped them. That was me, I did that, right? If you felt like you helped some people every single day, even if just remembering old people that you helped, every day as a reminder, it'll give you the ammunition, the momentum, the fuel that you need to keep going every day. So brick by brick, sometimes it's big why, right? It's the mindset. Sometimes it's the big why. Sometimes it's just, man, I'm gonna go crush the world. I'm so excited. I'm gonna go solve this giant problem and change humanity, right? Sometimes you feel like that and it's amazing and you use that boldness and energy to create something amazing. And sometimes you're gonna feel like, I can't do that big thing. And so you just look at the comments, you look at the one person that you helped, or the 5 people that you helped, or think back to people that you have helped in your life to remind yourself that you are valuable, that you make a difference, that the work you create is meaningful, and to get the momentum and energy you need. Because for the most part, the biggest thing that you're missing is just momentum. And momentum comes from mindset. If you believe you can create great things, you can. So brick by brick starts with mindset. Big why and little why. So I said there were 2 things, right? There's mindset and then there's action. So step number 2 is action. So you think you can do something, then you have to go off and do it. Thinking it is not enough. You got to do something. You got to act on it. And brick by brick here is we often will plan this giant thing, right? You have this bold vision, this big idea, amazing, and you default into planning mode and you think, I got to do this and 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 this. And it's exciting and it's fulfilling. And it's amazing to think in planning mode of what you can potentially build. But then you step back and look at that behemoth that you just built in your head or on paper, and you think, wow, that's really big. To do that, I need venture capital, I need partners, I need a team, and all this stuff that you need that you don't have. And then that becomes scary and then you don't act. And so I believe in what I call the 2% difference. The 2% difference is as soon as you come up with an idea, we're taking immediate action on the first 2%. So what we typically do is we'll plan to get to 100%. You'll plan to 100. You'll plan your entire vision out until it's complete, right? Then that becomes too scary. Instead of planning as your first step, planning is important, but it's not the first step. Your first step is action. Your first step is doing. Your first step is the first 2%. What is the first 2% version? So if your plan is to build the next YouTube channel that's gonna dominate the world, I love it. It's easy to think, well, I need a camera person, I need a team, I need an editor, I need a script writer, I need. Great, awesome. 2% difference, take your phone, make a video today. Teach yourself to go from idea to action, idea to action. The smallest possible version. That little video you make from your phone, what difference it's gonna make? Not a lot in terms of output, but a ton in terms of momentum. A ton in terms of momentum. Most people just don't start. If you wanna lose weight, you wanna get in shape, the best thing you can do is do 10 push-ups right now. I had a person on one of my lives who said that their goal was to get in shape. Okay, great. Go do 10 push-ups right now. Don't come back on into the live until you've done 10 push-ups. Are those 10 push-ups going to actually make that person lose 20 pounds? Of course not. But the difference between no push-ups and 10 push-ups is the whole game. Because if they do that 10 push-ups, they taught themselves to go from idea to action, idea to action, idea to action. That's the thing that's missing for most people. You have great ideas. I believe you have Michael Jordan level talent at something. You're not acting enough. Not in a big enough way, not consistently enough. There's too much time planning and thinking and overanalyzing and worrying about judgment instead of just getting out there and actually doing. So planning is important. It's just not the first step. You burn all of your boldness and creativity and energy on the planning. You wake up the next day and you think, I can't go do that big, scary, crazy thing. Or instead, as soon as you get the idea, the best thing you can do with your energy, with your boldness, with your confidence in that moment, in that idea that you just created, is go do something about it. And teach yourself that you're the kind of person who comes up with great ideas, who trusts their great ideas, who doesn't overanalyze anymore and just puts them out into the world and builds momentum. That's going brick by brick.
If you want to see 50 more rules from Evan Carmichael, check out the video next to me. You're gonna enjoy it. I will see you there. Continue to believe.
People just have not been given the right tools. So let's simplify it for you today. And if you're someone who's struggling to figure out what your purpose and your passion are, this video is going to be insanely helpful for you.